That's right. Greetings, fellow Amblinites. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
Since Steven Spielberg doesn't do audio commentary on his own work, we thought we'd do it for him. After all he's done for us, it's the least we could do for him. That's right. It's the penultimate installment before we hit the end of Spielberg's massive film catalog. It's an event so exciting, it will have you dancing in the streets. Featuring films guaranteed to get glowing reviews in the post. With any luck, you'll love our selections as much as Marie Schrader loves the color purple. Let's walk down the long and winding path Amblin set us down upon with
Spielberg
Month.
Do,
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 do, do, do, do, do.
do, da, na, 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 na.
Thanks. All right. Dragon, tell the audience what we're going to be talking about tonight. Why don't you give a brief description of the movie?
Well, I think the folks have eyes, Tiki. Folks, we're talking about, as you probably guessed it, The Post.
Dragon, give a brief synopsis of The Post.
All right, so you remember Watergate? You remember what happened right before Watergate? Of course you don't. What happened before Watergate was the Pentagon papers were leaked, and it was a big deal, and they were suppressing the freedom of speech, and
screw it! Why don't we just talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? Galaga! No?
What?
No look?
Wait.
We can't just talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? All right, I'm sorry, Dragon. This elaborate skit comedy setup here was just to elaborate how much I don't want to do this. Dragon, my God, we have come to an impasse of Spielberg month where I think this movie's okay. And you know what? I will give a feather in its cap where it's like, I think Odenkirk, our boy Odenkirk, is definitely like a best supporting actor kind of MVP that kind of saves this movie in a lot of ways for me. And I'm not saying any of the performances are bad. Dragon, my issue with this movie is it is the most by the numbers Oscar bait movie in Spielberg's filmography by a long shot to me, like almost objectively, just based on the nature of how this came out and why it came out when it did. And I don't know, man. I don't find this movie engaging. I find it informative, and I find the performances to be good. And it's a Spielberg movie, so you bet your ass there's going to be some good cinematography. But Dragon, this is definitely like lower rung Spielberg for me personally. I'm not sure how you feel about it. This movie might get a really big Odenkirk bump in your book. I'll be curious. But Dragon, like, I don't know. This, to me, it very much feels like I'm going to kind of like steal a note from Jeremy John's review from back in the day. It really just feels like kind of a homework movie. It feels like the type of movie where it's like, we're learning about Watergate in school, and then the teacher turns this movie on. It's like, all right, take some notes. This is what was going on right before Watergate. And it's like, that's not bad. But I don't know, Dragon. For Spielberg, it's like we've come here to these corners of Spielberg month, and we've praised the man's name. And, even sometimes when he doesn't have the best movie, there's still a lot of interesting, auteur, like, artistic qualities to his films. This, to me, is like I said, it's the most paint by numbers Oscar bait Spielberg film, pretty much bar none. It's not to say it's bad. It's not a bad movie. I would not call it a bad movie, but it is very, very formulaic, and I just don't think it matches the levity, the gravity of the situation that it's trying to hit. All right, so I'm terribly sorry, Dragon. Long, rambling sketch comedy opening aside with the callback to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, you see, you might want to loop in your partner when you do. a sketch comedy thing like that, because otherwise it's going to fail miserably like it just did.
All right, Dragon, I'm very curious. This was your first time watching The Post, right?
Oh, no, I've seen it before.
Oh, you have? Okay, my bad. So, what do you think about it, just on rewatch and just overall?
Yeah, so The Post, yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement. It's not Spielberg's best. I mean, I go back to my to what kind of the analogy I've formed over our many years of Spielberg coverage. You know, you have the films that are Spielberg movies, and then you have the movies that happen to be directed by Steven Spielberg. And I think this falls in. Now, that's not saying all of those movies that just happen to be directed by Steven Spielberg are bad movies, but sometimes just kind of that's the way the cards are dealt.
I feel
And
like this movie could be the poster child of movies that happen to be directed by Spielberg.
exactly, like, I mean, if it was like, man, there's a couple Spielberg players in this, namely Tom Hanks. Outside of that, it's like, huh.
Right.
So, I don't know. Here's the thing. So the subject matter at hand, very compelling, no question. But you know, I think ultimately you look at this movie, especially when you look at it again. This, especially after having seen so many shows like House of Cards and Designated Survivor and kind of the political intrigue shows, this really does feel like this would have made a fascinating hour of television versus a feature film. You know, like if it were condensed a little bit, it might be like a really good hour long story.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so Spielberg doing a historical movie, which he is wont to do, but you know, it's not his most spectacular work because again, it is. I mean, yeah, it is by the numbers. I think what really hurts the film, I think the weakest link of the film, which we'll get into, I think it's Meryl Streep. I think this is the most overrated I've ever seen her, honestly.
Okay, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun conversation just for that factor alone. Yeah. I think she has one or two scenes where I'm like, all right, Meryl, I'm feeling you. But other than that, it's like, yeah,
There's
there's
nothing to get. I've loved Meryl Streep in other things. Like for example, I love her in Defending Your Life. She's great in that movie. But this is not defending your life by a long shot.
there is a certain way that this character is written that kind of just gets under my skin, and I'm curious if we have the same reaction.
I have a very mundane observation about her, but I'll save it for when we get into the thing.
Okay.
So here's the thing. It's so odd that this movie. There's so many people that we love in this movie, though.
Yes.
That's what's crazy about this. Anyway, so it's so again, I mean, again, there's a fascinating story, like the history being made, and that there was like a big challenge to the freedom of speech and everything. Like that's all nice, fine, and dandy, and that's compelling. I mean, it does kind of feel like. Again, it's like a homework movie, but it's like not even really the good stuff. It's not about, hey, let's talk about Watergate. Well, no, not really. This is the lead up to Watergate. This is the prequel to Watergate, and the movie that Spielberg's not going to
Okay,
do.
one of my biggest freaking nitpicks with this thing, and it is as bad. It is as bad as I remember. Dragon. Holy fucking hell! Is that forced? Like, hey, look, it's Watergate. Dragon. It feels like cringy early 2000s sequel bait, man.
Mm.
It does not play well.
Which traditionally Spielberg does not do sequel bait.
No, it come. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Exactly. We're jumping.
We'll build to it.
We're very much jumping to the end there, so that's not I don't want to do that. So I mean, overall, I mean, The Post, it's definitely not one. You're right though. It's not bad. It's not it's not the Antichrist by a long shot, but it's it's just not. It's like if I'm going through this. Let me this way. I'm sorry. One last thing I'm going to say, and I'll jump to the background stuff.
Uh-huh.
Not a lot of background, by the way, on this. So because the whole movie is essentially background Watergate. I kind of like if you compare this to, I think the far better, like a movie that feels more like at least has more Spielberg in it than this movie.
I know exactly what you're going to say. Go ahead.
Bridge of Spies.
No. Okay, that's interesting. I can see it obviously with Spielberg, yeah, but I think the movie that people compare this to, as far as like it succeeded a lot better at doing the journalistic thing.
Spotlight.
Yeah, Spotlight, exactly. Spotlight is like the way better prestige version of this movie.
Well, I have some background about that you're gonna like, but we'll
okay.
We'll get there. Regardless, I'm just saying, like with Bridge of Spies, that movie feels more like there's so much more Spielberg flourishes and feels a lot more Spielberg in the DNA with the historical thing that could it's very easily not a heavy courtroom drama. Only a portion of it is, and the rest of it's kind of like the bait the spy game, the espionage, like we're switching hostages, that whole thing. So, but that's the thing that felt like more. That was more of the Spielberg DNA in that. So that one was like a balance. I think technically that one would technically fall under a film that happens to be directed by Steven Spielberg, but it's on the middle of the line where there's a lot of Spielberg in the style. So you can really kind of, I don't know, there's a lot more of that personal touch in it, which this movie does not have.
Right.
So it's kind of where I'm at. If I were to compare those two, like obviously this thing does not come anywhere near Bridge of Spies, but it's kind of, I think it's going for Bridge of Spies, but it's just the story's just not there to get there.
I mean, Bridge of Spies, it just has the the foundation of the two leads, and this is like Dragon. Essentially, this is kind of like a Pleasantries movie, except the Pleasantries are just all very like elite, rich white people.
I mean, yeah,
and I don't know. It's like it's very dull.
All right. So let me tell you some background. Again, not a lot. So this is obviously based off real life. The Pentagon Papers leak, as you probably gathered. I think the long story short here is that it was basically this event was like the Snowden of its day in 1971. That's the best comparison I could give you. Essentially, it's like the Edward Snowden whole the big leak that happened modernly just back before computers and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And again, also this 71, that this is after Elvis met Nixon. This is after Nixon was fun.
Yes.
There was a brief period where Nixon was.
That's a good barometer of time, Dragon.
I mean, seriously, there was like a brief period.
No, I feel you. I feel you. Honestly,
he was like, oh, the whole shock.
It's silly, but it works.
Yeah, it's like I'm talking about like the era of the Nixon mask, and he's on laughing like.
Right. Yeah.
Like the all that. So this is like after. This is like again. This is where he's like starting to tape everything.
It's like when this is him, and when he goes like full supervillain.
Yeah, this is like at the point literally after that meeting with Elvis is when he started it. That's the thing. After he met Elvis, everyone.
Did Elvis just like fuck Elvis? This is what people are into in this country.
All right. Anyway, one thing. It's like the fact that everyone's asking like, oh man, he met Elvis. Let's go with the Nixon tapes. Like, no, there weren't any Nixon tapes because that was when he was still kind of filled with like a little bit of hope, I guess. And then so after that, it was like, okay, well now I'm just going to tape everything because I'm entering the end of days and I don't trust anybody. I'm like the Anthony Hopkins version of Nixon now. Seriously, that's a great. You've seen that Nixon movie, haven't you?
Anthony Hopkins?
Yeah. It's the one that's just called Nixon, where he does like the big salute.
Oh, the Oliver Stone one? No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
I'm not a big Oliver Stone guy.
That's one of his great ones, though. Anyway.
All right, Drake, we got a 2-hour movie to get to.
All right. Well, comparatively, the rest of the Spielberg's works, bro.
I know. It's a brisk watch comparatively, but still, it's boring. So
like an hour 45, honestly. But yeah. So okay,
right.
All you need. Okay, here's what you need to know. So again, the reason this movie happened is at the time this was made, like around 2016, 2017, probably in pre-production 2016. All the political corruption and the days of Nixon seemingly repeating themselves, it was on Spielberg's mind. So he wanted to make a movie that was timely. The script came across his desk, and he was between projects in a very unique kind of turn of events. And it was like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's fast track this while it's still relevant. And that's essentially what happened. The script was written by Josh Singer, who did Spotlight. So hence the similarities. Like, hey, we got a film that's going to be like Spotlight. Let's get the Spotlight guy in there.
Yeah, makes sense.
And Liz Hannah. Now, Liz Hannah, just want to briefly say she wrote a movie I really like. She wrote that Long Shot movie with Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron, like the cute romantic comedy.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, which again is a lot more politically savvy than you'd ever expect it to be. It's really nice.
God,
seriously, it's a really good movie.
No, I know.
Anyway. So
the way you put that on the box, like more politically savvy than you'd ever expect it.
Yeah.
That's a selling point, Dragon.
Sure. So let's see. So it's ironic. This is a very despite this being complete opposite end of the spectrum here. This is like a similar situation Spielberg found himself in, when he was on post with Jurassic Park and he was, working on Schindler's List. So it's essentially, kind of the niche he found himself in because he was in post on Ready Player One. He was moving on to this. So,
how the mighty have fallen on both regards is all I have to say to that, dude.
That's what I told you, opposite end of the spectrum. So,
Jesus Christ.
So, of course, casting.
If that's not an illustration of where he was in his career at the time, I mean, thank God for West Side Story, bro.
Sure. So let's see. So casting, of course, who's going to say no to Spielberg at this point in time? So we got all of his first choices. Big surprise.
Odenkirk.
Bobby. So, Tom Hanks.
Bob Odenkirk's just like, all right, Steve, I'm just going to take the movie and I'm going to put it right on my shoulders.
Yep. He's gonna carry it like those giant bags of money. All right, so Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg, believe it or not, they actually knew the real Ben Bradley.
Do they?
Yeah. Tom Hanks, the Spielberg was neighbors with Ben Bradley growing up, I think.
Oh wow.
Let's see. I don't know if it was just growing up or like just when he was kind of like early director years, but he was friendly with Ben Bradley. Anyway, so this was I guess lastly, just to kind of round, there's not really anything interesting. Just it was like it got. I mean, there's like they were going for like a leadership versus like just like a newspaper story. And that's really about it. And then otherwise, you get all the nominations, and not surprisingly, did not win those nominations.
Also, Dragon, one thing to throw into the hat here. From what I hear, the movie was fast-tracked to be a 2017 release because of the whole Trump.
That's what I said at the beginning there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
I didn't name drop them, but essentially, yeah, the whole fact that because things were we're going the Nixon route again.
And honestly, Dragon, I hate to say it, but that is kind of like exactly what. Like, it's a noble intention and a noble, and I think you could make a good movie out of it, but as we'll talk through it, like, I feel like the fact that they rushed it just to get it out there, like, oh, this is going to be super duper relevant. Like, I feel like ultimately that's kind of what kills the movie as far as, like, it does just veer sort of violently into Oscar bait territory in a lot of spots.
It's kind of oddly timely we're talking about now because I think like a few days ago trials were happening.
I know, right?
A small world.
What if this is the Spielberg month commentary that just blows up?
Well, you never know.
What if it's the one that gets Steven's attention because it's like, oh my God, these guys are dedicated. Nobody ever talks about the Post.
I wish, ultimately what I want Spielberg month to do is maybe just give Spielberg a wake-up call. Maybe I should have done commentary so that I wouldn't have these idiots just basically rambling on, doing it for me. Ultimately, that's kind of what I want for Spielberg. Spielberg's like, man, I really should have done commentaries.
Right.
People wouldn't have to do them for me.
All right, Dragon. So I think why don't you just set up the commentary process and we'll get to it.
Yeah, folks, so we'd like to do what I call the lethal weapon approach, in which, it's 1, 2, 3, go. When Tiki says go, you hit the button if you want to watch along with us. Otherwise, it's just going to be kind of a linear conversation. If you're just, kind of going through it as we're watching the movie and just kind of reflecting, or in your case, man, they're reflecting on this movie very detailed. So again, when Tiki says the magic word, go, that's when you hit the button, you line up whatever your copy is, whether it's on Amazon or YouTube or it's the disc or it's like on demand somewhere. That's how you do it.
Yeah. All right. So with that in mind, let's get to it. The Post in 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah, the Post. The Post.
Hey, it's Fox.
Get stoked! The Post, Dragon.
No, dude, appreciate
the Post.
Appreciate the Fox logo before it's gone. Now it's gone.
Right,
Thanks for that. You had to talk over the Fox logo, and that was all 20th century.
Dragon, I just want to get the energy up before it just automatically dies, man. This is going to be hard to get through. Oh boy. I'm not looking forward to this one, Dragon.
Oh, would you stop your whining and just watch a movie?
Oh boy!
And here's something exciting for me. I completely forgot about this movie. One of my favorite people is at the top of this movie as a very pivotal linchpin of the film.
And who might that be?
Matthew Rhys. He plays Dan Ellsberg, the guy who steals the documents.
Oh God! Oh my God! Okay. Hold on. I have a really good Better Call Saul comparison now. So we have Better Call Saul, like the mailroom Dragon. So it's like, just imagine Bob Odenkirk's character in this movie, just like, oh, thanks for the documents, Dan.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I know. I had the same thought too.
Did you?
Yeah. No, but seriously, I've always loved Matthew Rhys. Again, even to go as far as in our silly biopic talk, if we ever casted ourselves in a biopic, I'd go with Matthew Rhys for me. That'd be the realistic choice.
But starting in Vietnam, it's like, I don't know. I feel like this movie, this movie to me, it's like, it's kind of like, it's trying to be way too many things. And I feel like, it's like, if they would have stuck more to, this guy's story, because I feel like you said, Dragon, this guy really is kind of like the Snowden of it all. And
Yep.
one thing we didn't get to with the background and the backstory, and fun fact, given our intro, Dragon, I did some research and I did look up the Washington Post review of this movie. Can you guess how they reacted to it?
Well, I'd like to think positively, but is that not the case?
They loved it.
Oh, there you go.
But I'm just like, yeah, of course they loved it. But
Yeah.
Dragon, I don't know. That's kind of
you
like,
get
to
Tom
me, it's like
Hanks
I feel like the Washington Post. It's like as we'll get into, I think, with the Meryl Streep character, and I hate to say it, but even the Tom Hanks character, I feel like there's more interesting players around those two as the leads. Do you agree?
I mean, for sure, but I think Hanks is still delivering, though. I think, he's still like,
Well, when does Hanks not deliver? Hanks could deliver when he's reading the phone book.
That is true, though. Like, seriously, if they ever need like a book on tape version of the phone book, you go to Hanks. Okay, seriously, what we're doing here. So this is the interesting thing, though, where we have the Matthew Rhys character as essentially the observer, literally the reporter in question, who's seeing Vietnam. The fact that we don't need to cut back to Vietnam, but just getting like a little tone setter of like, yeah, Vietnam pretty bad, especially in the 70s. And we see the stakes. We see why this war needs to end, and why people need to know what's going on over there, and maybe we motivate them to cease the war and pull everyone back. But we need to get that information out there, and to do that, we need a character who's going to be motivated to do something bold, and we're seeing him motivated right before our eyes, like being a reporter in the thick of the action. That was kind of an inspired choice. That was interesting.
Yeah, I just I feel like that character is the character I'd like to follow, Dragon.
Well, that's the thing, Tiki. Look at this movie. The first 10 minutes is all of our setup on essentially the Snowden of it all. He's in the war, he gets inspired, he steals some documents. That's a very interesting sell for this movie. And then 10 minutes in, Meryl Streep wakes up.
Oh boy! Oh no! Oh no!
No, seriously, this is all really good right now. Our first 10 minutes. This is he's on the plane, has a really sweet transition. and we're gonna meet Bruce Greenwood, who, by the way, voices Batman occasionally. He is Batman under the Red Hood, and Young Justice, and Gotham by Gaslight. He's playing the Secretary of State here, McNamara. Sorry.
Yeah, that's. I feel like this movie is like a primary example of one of those movies where it's like they cast so many people. It's like, just to put on the poster of like, and they're all doing serviceable jobs, right? It's not like any of them are sleepwalking through their role by any means. But I just feel like the way that this movie's written is almost kind of just like, we just go ho-hum through all of these events, and there's no real Dragon. It's very bizarre, because I feel like this is one of the few Spielberg movies that, for the most part, it lacks a lot of forward momentum.
Okay, real quick, I want to mention here, because we got to pad this out a little bit. I want to dwell on this for a second.
No, by all means, Dragon. I honestly feel like, we said we were going to talk through the movie, but if you want tangents, give us tangents. We got an hour 45 to kill.
I'm saying I want to talk about this bit, because this bit always struck me, because I love you get to see the motive behind what Ellsberg does here, because he's on the plane. The secretary is asking him the genuine questions: how are things going? And he basically says, no, they're not going well. They're not any better. He says, thank you for the honest answer, very genuinely. And the second he steps off the plane, he lies to the public, saying we're all good. And that's what motivates him right there. I love that, they have that genuine.
It's like a great thesis statement for a main character of a movie.
And also, the first 10 minutes are the most Spielberg-esque shot part of the film too, because we have like these interesting angles, and like when we work, like we do this little connecting
spotlights.
I mean, yes, sure, with the spotlights, but I mean more so like what he's about to do here. So he steals the, he grabs the documents, and later on, what he's going to do is he's going to we do this really interesting thing where we photocopy them, and we're laying them out as we're like kind of connecting the dots between the 4 to 5 administrations. So all that's really well, again, the point being,
I do like the dramatic tension here where it's like he does have to contemplate it, it's like it's not and then just kind of like walking out, like it is very much just like a mundane heist in the best sense of the word, I think.
Exactly. So it's Spielberg making the mundane important, which I really, I live for that sort of thing. So I love what we're doing here. like all like this hallway shot.
Nice
here.
hallway tracking shot. Yeah, it's all good stuff.
That's what I'm saying. We start very strong, and that's the thing. The movie is really coasting on the fumes of this opening, as far as I'm concerned. Where's
And
Finn Jones?
Odenkirk.
Well, and Odenkirk. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like we're kind
I'm
of.
sorry, I'm going to keep bringing him up.
I know. What I'm saying is later on, remember, Odenkirk connects to this guy, so by proxy of the story.
Exactly, yeah.
So everything involving the Pentagon Papers in this movie is good, but the people outside of the Pentagon Papers story, that's when it kind of lags. Originally, I think in some square circles, I don't know if they, because again, like I don't know if they've ever like done books that are kind of like fed into like the inspiration for the movie or not, like if they're drawing from a specific kind of layout of the historical event. But I think some titles or some working titles of the film were the Pentagon Papers. So again, it's very much the center point of the story, very obviously. It's more than the Post. I mean, the Post is honestly it's called the Post because of the Meryl Streep of it all, I'm sure.
Yeah, I know. Which is, I'm just waiting. Dragon, should we set up that we're not big Meryl fans? Because I feel like that's going to come into play a lot in this conversation. I feel like people need to be prepared.
I mean, it's not that I don't dislike Meryl Streep. I'm just saying this is like one of the few times where I'm not like obsessed with her or anything. I'm not like the many like the Meryl heads that are out there. Where they're always like she can do no wrong. I think consistently she's done a lot of good stuff, but again, I draw back to early stuff like the Defending Your Life, which is kind of factors. She features in the movie, not like the lead part of the movie, But this is an occasion for me where I'm seeing like, man, Meryl Streep's really dropping the ball on this. Okay, this is what we're doing right now. This is really cool. This is where we're seeing the administrations being pieced together. So the idea here being, since after World War II, since Truman onward, I believe, this is where things really just kind of like the Vietnam situation was talked up, and basically the situation just got progressively worse. And it was in the background, and it just kind of got more in the forefront and just like obscured and hidden that the U.S. bore a lot of blame, and they were basically downplaying how bad the situation was to the American public.
Yeah, and it is. I mean. I don't know. I don't know how much I can keep repeating. Like, it's a compelling setup, but they just don't tell the story in a compelling way.
Yeah, look at these photocopy shots, man. There's some Spielberg lighting for you. Look at that.
You're right.
What I'm saying, we're making the mundane interesting. Again, it's kind of like with the Odenkirk of it all, a little Better Call Saul-esque.
Oh god, this is going to be a long hour 40.
I'm pretty sure Spielberg has not seen Better Call Saul, by the way, and I think it's a mistake on his part.
Why do you say that? Why are you sure?
I just feel like I don't think Spielberg would find the time to watch Better Call Saul. That's the impression I get from him.
Just because, like Dewey, I don't know, man. I think Spielberg would.
I don't know. He's got like 9 kids. I don't think he has time for Better Call Saul.
I was gonna say, I think Spielberg is like hip on the times, but then again,
I like to think so. I mean, I don't know what Spielberg.
But then I look at Ready Player One, and I'm like, maybe not.
That's the thing, don't you? Isn't that kind of like? There's a documentary I'd like to see. Like, what does Spielberg do in his off time in relation to pop culture? Like, what is it like? What does he watch? Like, does he keep up to date? I know he watches his friends' movies, but outside of that, like, like he produces. I'm sure he watches the stuff he produces. At least I'm sure. Because I know he's been involved in those things, but I'm just saying in terms of just in general, like, what does he do outside of that? Like, does he?
Hold on. We have to clap for Meryl. Clap for Meryl.
All right, come on. Don't be petty. Come on. See, that's one too many hand slaps for a good joke, man. Come on.
Icon.
All right. So with the Kay Graham character, so again, I think she's absolutely the weak link of the movie. But I mean, I think on paper her character works, but in practice and in regards to the end product, it just it comes off like. On paper, it's that woman who has become a widow after her husband has committed suicide. She's now tasked with running his newspaper, which she doesn't really have a stake in. And she's a woman in the workplace in the 70s, and it's not really things are working against her, and she's doing her best. And she's staying up all night reading the documents and everything. So I should be rooting for this character, but 2 things happen. One, we don't spend nearly enough time with her. I mean, just given the way that's going, it's probably for the best. So honestly, but maybe that's why the movies are kind of at a detriment every time we cut back to her, because we're either not spending enough time with her to get to know her and to invest in her, or maybe there's just not enough there in the first place.
Okay,
Which is
my
equally
whole thing
possible.
with her, my issue with her is I feel like the movie barely dwells on her losing her husband. I think, like, I feel like that's very much in the background of the character. Honestly, like that might sound that might sound mean to say, but it's just like I just don't feel the emotion of it. And secondly, Dragon, my big issue with her character is that I feel like it's a very self-aggrandizing role for Streep, because it's essentially like, look at me and all these big parties I throw and all these powerful people who go to me and I have influence and I can get their word from. You know what I mean? It's just like I feel like there's an air of self-importance to the role that kind of trickles over to the whole, and I think the Meryl Streep is overrated thing, at least as far as how I see it, and I do kind of agree with it. Dragon, it all comes down to the whole running gag of like there are simply roles that she has been involved in where I would say that Meryl Streep herself would probably admit that she shouldn't have been nominated for an Oscar for it. You know, there was a point in Oscar history where it was essentially just like, oh, Meryl Streep's in a movie, nominate her. So just in that regard, I just feel like, I don't know, like, do you agree with the whole, like, with the whining and dining part of her character, and that it comes off as a little elitist?
Well, that's the thing. I was going to mention it later when we had the first party, but I guess just to mention it, I feel there's a lot of like, we're trying to make her a compelling character, but then she's like, she comes across like kind of a, this is going to sound really harsh, like kind of like a doddering old society lady. It's like, look at all the parties. It's like, oh, look at me, I'm throwing a party.
Oh, God. Dragon,
like,
I'm so glad we're on the same page about this character.
Again, maybe not as...
We're going to be the internet's biggest jerks, and if this goes viral and this is what brings down the channel, whatever.
Okay. Again, look, I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm just saying, I can see it. It's like these dopes don't like Meryl Streep.
I want to be very clear. I just don't like her in this movie. You know, I'm not having the love fest for her in every. I'm not going like Gaga for her and everything. I mean, I've liked her.
I'm sorry, but it's like, I love how you illustrated that because it's perfect. It's just like, yeah, you're right. She's just this doting little high society woman, and it's very obnoxious to me.
I mean, literally, the point of the movie is she's seemingly unqualified for this job, and she just kind of like we're just waiting for her to say one thing in the movie. Let me say, her role boils down to one moment in this entire film, and it's not really the best delivered line, unfortunately. It's the whole let's run it. That's it. That's her line.
Right.
The whole movie is built her saying that, and it's like the whole movie's built around leadership, and she's supposed to be the leader, and that's not really coming across to me because she's barely in the movie. And again, we have one scene where she talks about the husband thing, and it's like that's kind of a big deal. I like to invest in her a little.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's kind of like a lessons from the screenplay type thing of like, you can't just like introduce that idea and then not expand on it, you know?
I mean, honestly,
it's like just because you state it as a fact doesn't mean the audience is going to feel it throughout the movie. If you don't, you know, it's like planting a seed, Dragon. You need to nurture that seed if you're going to plant it into the story.
It's like right now, with the scene between her and Hanks, of course, just want to shout out Tom Hanks. So between her and Tom Hanks, you know, we have a nice bit here where it's like, hey, this is a breakfast meeting. I heard you the first 3 times. He's getting a little gruff with her because, like, okay, look, I know you're kind of pushing me here. Just I got the message. Like that to me, like if that were like a little bit more the focus, like the dynamic between these two characters versus just every now and again, okay, stuff's happened. She's throwing a party. Tom Hanks shows up. Stuff happens. Throwing a party. There's Tom Hanks.
It's like, no, you're right. Oh my God. Dragon, thank you, because that is the exact rhythm of this movie. And I feel like for a long stretch of like the first and second act, that's exactly the pattern. And it gets so...
I mean, honestly, for me, the biggest problem with the movie, I think, by proxy of her character, is that if the hierarchy of how the Post, and again, without doing a super deep dive in the research here, I mean, between the Post and the Times, like, I want to say they're both owned by her, I believe. I just like how that whole thing works.
I don't even think that. Yeah, I totally agree that they don't really like. I honestly think, I hate to use this terminology, but I honestly think this is a little bit of a boomer movie from Spielberg as
Real
far as
quick.
like
There's
what?
Justin Swain. The lad I cast. He's from Luke Cage. I cast him as young John Lasseter in the Pixar biopic.
Oh God, okay,
I
okay.
love that kid, man. I want to see him in more stuff.
No, but like the thing that feels boomer about this movie to me is that it just kind of like it just relies on the audience to just like know all these details and all these things about the characters, and it doesn't spell them out to you, and it just like it very much feels like a movie that's just kind of like made for people who went through this. You know, it's a very deep cut kind of movie
I don't
historically.
think
You
I'm
know what I
asking for
mean?
much, just to know, like, specifically. Okay, so wait, does she own them both or not?
I yeah, and I agree that I really don't think like the screenplay lays it out in a coherent way at
Because
all.
I think that's an important detail, only because, like, later on, we're going to keep saying, like, this newspaper can print it, this one cannot. And again, if
Uh-huh.
it's like if they're owned by the same person, and the fact that we're putting pressure on the the Graham character, I think that's kind of important.
Yeah, sure, sure.
I gotta say that, you know what I really like about Tom Hanks in this movie? I really
I feel
like.
like Tom Hanks in this movie is kind of like the most baseline, like this is like Tom Hanks in like factory set mode. It's like he's just like, "Hi, I'm Tom Hanks. I'm
Well,
likable and helpful and a stand-up
well,
guy."
you know what I kind of view him as in this movie, though, which kind of makes it a little special. He's pretty much this is what Tom Hanks would be like if he played Perry White, and I like that.
Yeah, I can see it. I can totally see it.
Because he's gruff, but he's got a soft, mushy center. You know, like I love like the bit later on with his daughter
Uh-huh.
in the lemonade. So like there's this kind of a
Okay,
soft center.
yes, yes. I think my favorite moment in the whole movie is when he inflates the price of the lemonade.
Yeah, that's great.
Honestly, I love that little moment because it's just like it's a very Spielbergian, like, all right, like, you know, it not only shows like Hanks being a good dad, but it also shows like, you know, the fact that like the tensions are getting a little bit higher, you know, like the woman's kind of snapping at the little girl, like, oh, do you have vodka in the lemonade? You know, it's, I don't know. I feel like that's a great montage
Yeah.
moment.
By the way, I just want to take a moment to appreciate Tom Hanks. You know, at his age, he's looking really good. Doesn't he look good here?
He does, yeah.
Yeah. Just want to shout that out a little bit. It's looking good. Anyway, um, yeah. So that's the I don't
We'll
like.
see
I don't
how he
like.
does his daddy Spielberg.
Yeah. I'm sure that'll be good too. Yeah. So let's see. What was it? Anyway, so the point being, like, here's the thing. I want to make the distinction clear. If even with the factory comparison with Tom Hanks, he's not. I think Meryl Streep's on autopilot. I don't think I think Tom Hanks is like just having like a casual good time, but he's still bringing it. You know, I think that's the
Uh-huh.
distinction. Like, Tom Hanks is playing a gruff editor, which is kind of funny. I don't know if he's played an editor before. It feels like a role he'd be good for, and we kind of see that at play here.
Sure, sure.
That's the thing. I like Tom Hanks playing an editor. It's not really a whole lot there. It's not like the big, like deep, like carve it on a monument Tom Hanks role, but it's like, okay, look at Tom Hanks doing good. Okay, now here's the kryptonite of the movie.
Oh God.
So these are always hard scenes to pull off and things, and they always seem to pop in superhero movies, but just in general, boardroom scenes can be tricky. In a movie where we unfortunately saddle the Meryl Streep character with nothing but boardroom scenes and fancy dinner parties, that's not going to help her at all.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the thing. Like literally, we saddled her. I think. Let me just wait. I think to maybe ease some of our Meryl Streep harshness. Just she is saddled with kind of an impossible position if she's given nothing but. But Steven, there's nothing but boardroom scenes in you. Well, I'm sorry, Meryl. That's what I have for you. You know,
I feel like I'll keep saying it. I feel like this movie really should have had another main character because I feel like there's like two or three main characters I can think of off the top of my head that would be more interesting focal points into the story.
oh, something funny we should bring up. I read Bob Odenkirk's book recently, and I can't recall the entirety of this chapter, but when Odenkirk mentioned working on this movie, there was a fear on the set that he had realized that I believe no one else had realized, and he was just kind of dreading when someone would realize it. The fact that he and David Cross are in this movie together and in the same set for a few
Oh
scenes.
yeah, for
So the
sure.
Mr. Show thing. So the fear was Odenkirk had was like, oh god, what if Spielberg's going to say like, I don't want people to think I'm doing like a Mr. Show, like, hey, look at Mr. Show and at the reunion
Sorry,
going on here.
Bob, you're doing good work here, but
Yeah.
Oh
So
God,
that's
can you
like,
just imagine like a little Mr. Show sketch where Steven fires a sad Bob Odenkirk, and then like a very braggadocious David Cross is like, Steven's like, David's my favorite, Bob.
ah. And there was a fear that Odenkirk had, like, oh god, this might gum up the works, and it's like, what if Spielberg realized, and he doesn't like. I think at some point he did realize, and Spielberg's like, yeah, well, you don't really share like too many scenes like together, really. So I guess
yeah,
it's fine.
it didn't matter.
Yeah. So this is what I'm talking about. Like this whole like the company's going public. 2450. That's what we're going
Okay,
for.
can I just say, as someone who's knee deep into Succession, that's a show that pulls off the whole company going public thing like masterfully well. And this is just shit. This is just patty.
Well, Tiki, that's a very interesting point, though. Yeah, you have been watching.
Cut this whole subplot out, Dragon.
That's an interesting observation that I didn't consider. Like, yeah, you've been watching a lot of Successions lately, so you've gotten a greater appreciation for the cutthroat world of business. So they have this.
I have, and honestly, that did not make this movie any better, Dragon. If anything, that just like revealed this movie's kind of writing flaws more, because I feel like Succession is kind of like a masterclass of this kind of stuff.
That's what I'm saying. What we're doing here with her is like, okay, so she's putting the legwork, and she whispers at the other guy, and they listen. So there's not really a lot there. So it just looked sad, Meryl.
Sad Meryl.
And it's not really looking that sad. It's looking more. It's not even like super sad, Meryl. It's just moderately displeased. Like, not even displeased, just moderately.
Meryl Streep is moderately unhappy.
That's what I'm saying. Like she's just kind of like. I mean, I know. Look, I get the ideas. Like a woman in the workplace are just kind of ignoring her, but it's just kind of like, man, they were really ignoring her in this scene.
Yeah, I would like to apologize to all the Meryl Streep fans, Dragon. I feel like we might lose.
Look, again, I just want to be clear, okay? I like her in other things. I don't love her in other things. I like her in other things, and this is just the worst thing I've seen her in, quite frankly. Bear in mind, I haven't seen a lot with Meryl Streep, so maybe that's I don't know. I mean, you preferred her far more in Series of Unfortunate Events than you do in this movie. Is that right?
I actually really like her in Series of Unfortunate Events. Yeah.
Yeah, she was a lot of fun. Oh, well, you're a guy. You're Bradley Woodford.
Indeed.
Yeah. There he is. Yeah.
But here's the thing, Dragon. It's like this movie is just kind of like, yeah, it's that guy popping up and doing a solid job. But it's like there's literally no arcs to most of these guys.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Bradley Woodford, not his most standout role. Not his most like, oh, it's Whitmer Woodford did that great thing like he didn't Get Out. We can't say that here.
Yeah, exactly. It's like all these guys are just like kind of like, they're showing up, they're doing a serviceable job. They're total pros, so it's not like they're going to be sleepwalking through the role by any means, but I just think it's the screenplay, Dragon, and I honestly do think your observation, like, I would honestly say, like, this could be like The Post could honestly be like a TV show if they were to go that route with it, because honestly, the whole fucking Watergate thing seems like a cliffhanger to lead into a season 2 of The Post.
Yeah, or just so. I mean, yeah, either that or like episode 2, man. Just like I'm saying,
it's just like, because I honestly think with all the character threads and everything, this could have been a full season of TV, and I feel like the story would have felt a lot more tight and a lot more narratively focused. I don't know.
I think I was thinking about it now as the scene's going on. I think I figured out why the Meryl Streep stuff's really not working. It's that the way she's playing this character is that, again, she's kind of unqualified and just kind of thrown into this. And I think that's kind of what's coming across here is that she doesn't want to be here. And I don't want to watch someone who doesn't want to be here.
I mean, I feel like that's definitely part of it. But I feel like the other part of it that is even worse is the fact that, like, when she does throw the parties and stuff, there's almost no effort. Like, people come around to her, like, effortlessly. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so there's like a lackadaisical like sense of apathy to what she's doing.
There's just no bite to her,
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, why are we going to Meryl Streep? Like, imagine if okay, I'm gonna pull another Tom Hanks movie here for you, okay? So Charlie Wilson's War. Did we ever do like did we do a Thanksgiving on that year? Or did we talk about doing that?
Oh man, I don't think we have done a Thanksgiving on that, and that would be
Because
a good. Yeah,
I know we were circling around. I don't know if we ever. I could have
I don't
sworn
think we
did.
landed on it. No, I would have remembered revisiting it.
Okay, well, you remember watching the movie though, right?
Oh, absolutely. That was
Okay.
that was my first discovery of Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, he's really good. At that, yeah. Anyway, so blanket on her name. The girl from Pretty Woman, Julia
Roberts.
Julia Roberts. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thinking about a lot of Julias lately. I just want to get the right one. So Julia Roberts. Because I was thinking like Julia Louis-Dreyfus and a whole bunch of other Julias anyway. So Julia Roberts, her character in that movie is essentially she's the money person that Charlie Wilson has to go to, and she's literally a rich society lady who does host a lot of parties. And
right.
that again, there's a lot of power of that character, and she is and she does actually want to help people, and there's a bite to that character. Plus, there's a little bit of tension between her and Tom Hanks, and kind of both positive and the negative. I don't mean
no, absolutely, absolutely.
In terms of like there's kind of a sexual attraction, but there's also kind of like there's like she's putting him in his place at times. So none of that's here. I know it's a very different like dynamic they have, but I'm saying like on paper it's like okay, goes the money lady. Going to the boss lady here, and there's no dread or importance. Like literally, Meryl Streep, the lady.
There's just kind of like I feel like from Meryl, there's just kind of like a stoic apathy, and then from the people around Meryl, there's kind of like just like a stoic respect.
Okay, real quick, we got to deviate from the Meryl thing. So biggest Spielberg homage in this film. The kid pulling the envelope trick. This, of course, is inspired by Spielberg, how he got on the Universal lot. As you walk in there, you grab in his case, some cord or wire, like gaffer tape or something. You just grab it, and you can walk right on the lot. And in this case, you take the envelope, you walk into a place where a lot of people are talking about important things. You're in the elevator, you're going to hear everything. So this was really clever and kind of it's a really cute Spielberg homage. I really did like it. And here we go.
Oh boy. Oh god.
Oh, well, however, this one
it's literally just like rich people just schmoozing. It's so boring.
Now, to be fair though, Gail Bedecker though, it's
what?
One, it's David Constable, Gail Bedecker from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, but it's exactly what we've been saying. It's just like
no, I agree. You're not wrong.
Hey, look, he pops up.
No, I'm just giving.
This is like right. The Avengers Endgame of character actors.
Okay, well that's
it is.
Now, to be fair,
totally is.
And I mean, look, Endgame gave us more with those characters, though. To be fair.
No, I know, but you know what I mean. It's just like just like a cameo fest.
You're all right about that though, because we do have
this is like the cameo fest for the Criterion crowd, Dragon.
That's a good way of putting it. The Criterion crowd.
The Criterion crowd.
But yeah, you're right. It was really sad. It's like he's in there for like 1-2 scenes tops.
It's pathetic, honestly.
Like,
it's just like I can't excuse the scene just because he's in it because like I don't. Oh god, this movie.
No, you're right. I'm just saying. At least it's like, I'm just saying, like later, it's gonna get a little worse. With just like, and I'm standing throwing a party. Here it's like, hey, Dave Constable and
Dragon. I will be totally and completely honest with you. When I rewatched this movie, I didn't even fucking notice it was him.
Yeah, bro. Really? You didn't notice?
Yeah. No.
Wow.
Yeah, he goes by that fast, Dragon. There's no impact. Just because he's there doesn't mean I remember him.
Okay, this is me going to speculate on what Spielberg does in his off time, by the way. So, there actually might be some evidence.
By all means, it's more interesting than this fucking movie.
Given that David Constable has been in 2 Spielberg movies, perhaps he does watch Breaking Bad. Maybe that leads credence to him watching Better Call Saul. Who knows?
Oh man!
No, David Constable's in a lot of stuff though, so maybe it's not an exact science, but it's a little shred of like, well, if he's in those 2 things, and who knows? By the way, another great actor we don't do a lot with, Sarah Paulson as the wife. Now, to be fair,
Sarah Paulson just has a fucking thankless role. You want to talk about not doing a lot with her.
I mean, we give her really one scene towards the very end, like the last scene she really has with.
Oh God, Dragon! I'm not going to end this movie without going on a fucking rant.
Unrelated note. Watch the Ratchet show. Not
Dragon,
you,
I
but I'm
don't
just
understand how a movie can be this competent and yet so just utterly disjointed and boring at the same time. This movie's an enigma.
yeah. Okay, now, basically what's going on here, we have the whole, the idea that he's been directed to cover, I believe, I don't know if it was Pat, one of Nixon's daughter's weddings. And while the real story's going on, they're missing out on it big time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I got to be honest, I keep forgetting who the heck Neil is in this movie.
Yeah, of course. Because this movie does a shit job in establishing characters. I don't blame you for forgetting who anyone is.
Okay, no, I do love this bit though. I love the idea, like all the newsmen like grabbing a whole bunch of papers. They, there's freshly dropped. That's a decent like bit of filmmaking right there. It's like, hey, what time is it? Then cut to the papers being dropped off, and the newsmen and the blowing papers in the wind. That's nice. It's a good shot. I believe it's all three of the boys. I think that was wasn't that Odenkirk and David Cross and Tom Hanks, or is that just?
I think so.
Yeah, it's really nice. Okay, how do you feel about the Nixon? Here's the thing. I'm convinced. I think these are the real Nixon tapes they're using because I try looking if they try to recreate them, but I think it's the actual tapes. And
I like the way they do it. I do. I wish he was used a little bit more as a looming presence, but it's like you often see Nixon with the over-the-top makeup and the bad voice, and it's like, so I think using it like this, I feel like it's one of the few things that Spielberg does as a director that does feel smart in this.
I like that it's from a distance, kind of suggesting Watergate before we actually do the Watergate from a distance shot. That's really cool.
Right.
Because that's the thing. Nixon he is like very much at a distance from our guys at this film, so shooting him like outside the window is a really good call.
Yeah.
It's like that's the thing. We have intermittently we have really smart choices and really kind of course a director like Spielberg would think of these things.
But again, I feel like those smart choices just kind of like make this movie even more frustrating because I just have no idea what to do with this movie.
Can you imagine if Spielberg basically maybe not ghost directed, but if he kind of did like a few, did like we did on Scarface, where he directed like a sequence in Scarface, but did like a majority of a movie like that, and had brought Janusz and his guys there, and just it wasn't labeled like a Spielberg movie. It's like, man, this movie looks really competently directed, but we'll never know who did it.
I could see him doing that with maybe the opening scene of an action movie or something like that.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I gotta be honest, man. Did you ever see some of the press junkets or the press kits for this film?
You know what? Honestly, I don't really when this film came out. I remember it being super low key and people just kind of being like, "Yeah, we love Spielberg, we love Hanks and Meryl."
I gotta tell you, man,
Odenkirk's good.
When I was.
This movie just got to say, this movie just kind of came and went, Dragon. I feel like it really is just going to, it's really kind of destined to be a forgotten Spielberg movie, I think.
When I did my research, I got to tell you, when I saw there was very little making of, but the little making of they had was basically Spielberg sitting down for an interview. I got to tell you, man, he did not look good in that interview. He looked, I mean, I'm not saying he was looking like he was monstrous or anything. I'm just saying he looked really every time I see Spielberg, even today when he's doing stuff, he's lively and he's full of, he's got pep in his step about the movie that he's making. Here he just looked like, yeah, I made a movie. Yeah.
No, totally. And that's what it feels like. And like I said, I feel like the big reason it feels that way is because they just got the whole idea of the president's trying to shut down free press. It reminds me of Nixon. Let's make a movie about that and be all topical.
He kind of, in a way, bit off.
And we're going through Me Too as well, so let's have a strong female character as the lead.
It's like Spielberg. I think technically it would have been a year before Me Too, but then again, by the time it came out is when Me Too happened.
Me Too was 2016. This came out 2017.
Are you sure? I could have sworn Me Too was 2017.
I'm pretty sure it was 2016.
All right,
I could be wrong.
Yeah, because we're the guys who would know everything about that. So, anyway. So, let me ask you this. Sorry, I'm trying to remember what I was going to say. All right. Do you think? Okay, so doesn't it kind of feel like Spielberg, like, he's like at a restaurant or something? It's like, hey, I want to order that movie. I want to do that movie, and then he's kind of like, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to finish this. I'm gonna be taking like doggy bags home for a week.
I can see that. I can see that.
I feel the movie kind of gave him indigestion, and it shows.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, I think.
His eyes
It's
were
like
bigger
he
than
gets
his
the
stomach.
initial spark of like, this guy's reminded me a lot of Nixon. We could go somewhere with that.
Yeah.
Dragon, if the whole movie kind of tied back, like honestly, I almost kind of feel like Spike Lee or someone like that would have made a better movie as far as like tying it back to modern politics goes. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
true, but then Spike Lee would have gone like a little too like a nail on the head at the end. That's kind of been his pattern.
Okay, people make fun of Spike Lee for that, but at least he goes there with it.
I love the Spike Lee movies until the very endings. That's the thing. Like that, literally, the movie ends and then political stuff. It's like just end it at the movie's end.
Right.
Like, these are great movies. Just end right there. Don't just like I get the world sucks. The world's bad. Don't throw it in my face. I'm trying to escape that here, man.
All right.
Anyway. I like the ball gag, by the way, when he's like, hey, give her the ball back. This is what I'm saying. It's like just kind of her just like kind of going around. It's not a party, mind you. It's like, hey, stuff happened. Let's meet Meryl.
Yeah, no, it's not a party, but it's, I don't know, man.
I'm just saying it's a repetitive thing of like, well, we have to clear it by her, and it's like it's kind of the same conversation.
It's just like Hank shows up, they talk.
Yep.
Look at him standing and talking.
And this is the equivalent. It's like the whole and then fight. And this is and talk.
No, pretty much. And Dragon, you know what? Some of our favorite movies and shows of all time are just people in rooms talking.
No, I like the talky talk. I also like the fight, but sometimes when you kind of when it's not, sometimes it's gonna be a little when it's unregulated, it's gonna be a little tiresome.
Just a lot of reverse shot, and I mean, it's not even filmed very interestingly. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, they're tracking in a little bit. It's not exactly reverse shot. That's the prequels from Star Wars you're thinking of.
Oh, this is so boring.
I'm trying to remember if this is the big scene or not, because I know there's like
this is so fucking boring.
Okay, no, this isn't the big scene I'm thinking. If you see, Tom Hanks has a really good speech later in this movie, but it's not yet. He's got a really good speech. It's not going to necessitate. It's not going to fix the movie.
We still got like another hour.
Suck it up like a big boy. Come on. All right, let's see. Strife. Look at all that strife. Nothing but hippies.
I really feel like this is going to be the commentary that just breaks Spielberg month Dragon.
Well, I'm sorry, you're the one who said, hey, let's do the post this year. Let's do the post.
Dragon, did we have many options? It was like the post or like fucking 1941 or whatever the fuck it is.
Well, the fact is we are reaching the bottom of the barrel, folks, but
I feel like the other one would have still rotted our brains, but it at least would have rotted our brains in a fun way and not a like, well, this is a very like middle of the road white people movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, folks, and I think the moral of the story is white people are boring.
I mean, Dragon, I don't know. It's like, here's the thing. You know that you and I, like, we don't really subscribe to that whole, like, the racial politics. And I don't want to get into it, but it's like, it's, I say, it's like, just let diversity be diversity. And, I don't really think we should make a big deal about it either way. But holy hell, are these white people boring?
Except for this white guy.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, this is like another character actor bingo thing. Okay, this is the actor who played the guy who gets the big smoking gun dropped on his desk. It's Fred from Dexter New Blood.
Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck?
What, you like Fred?
No, I know. It's just like so random.
Well, he's been in other things. I forget the actor's name.
No, I know. I just
Michael Cyril Crichton.
Oh God.
I do love this. I love he like literally has like the huge giant plot point, just like it's just literally hand delivered to him.
Dragon, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Bob Odenkirk is the only Jewish white man in this cast, and that's why I know that's probably not true, but just roll with it. And that's why he's the interesting one.
Is Bob Odenkirk Jewish, though?
Is he? I thought he was.
Well, no, I think you're thinking of Better Call Saul where you pretend to be Jewish for a scene, Tiki. I don't know if you're...
I am drawing from Better Call Saul, but I could have sworn the actual. I don't know.
I'm embarrassed that I can't remember. Like, I don't think so, but I don't.
Well, just roll with my headcanon here, man.
Well, I'm just saying that's kind of that's kind of an embarrassing thing to get wrong, though. That one.
No, you're right. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't lean too heavy on it if I'm not sure. Anyway. Well, I do like the design of the set with the post, you have the bullpen, you have like this interconnecting office thing, and that's some nice desk you got going there.
Makes for some good tracking shots, I guess.
Yeah, no, seriously, look, that was a nice tracking shot we did have there. We just kind of went through the partition.
Claps for tracking shots.
Why can't you sincerely appreciate a nice tracking shot? Come on, man.
Dragon, I can't sincerely. Oh God.
Now, to be fair, again, while the movie is kind of the momentum has gone out thanks to the Meryl Streep sections. I mean, again, I think ultimately, like, the guys looking through the Holy Grail that kind of comes to their desk and going through the documents. That's pretty fun. And we've seen a lot of interesting. Now, to be fair, not as wonderful as the examples that we've seen before, like Better Call Saul, in which you see like people combing through and reassembling shredded documents and stuff. But this is kind of like akin to the whole. Again,
Succession also has a really compelling subplot involving shredded documents.
Oh well, there you go. That's what I'm saying.
That's multiple seasons.
So the idea that, again, you can make like, mundanity really work for you, but again, if it's in like an action, like kind of an action package.
Again, Dragon, I feel like the Better Call Sauls and Successions of the world are not helping this movie by any means.
Unfortunately, no. Okay. Oh, speaking of which, the most Better Call Saul shot in the whole movie.
Oh God.
We have Odenkirk. This is making me think.
Absolutely. I felt the same way when I saw that. Yeah, Odenkirk on the payphone.
Yeah, him on the payphone. Now, by the way, if there's any,
all right, Dragon claps for Odenkirk payphone. Now, genuine claps.
Yeah. Now, to be fair,
I just turned into the Red Letter Media Nerd Crew, but Criterion edition.
I gotta be honest. This actually might be evidence that, I mean, to be fair, these guys just gonna use a payphone, so maybe it's not concrete evidence. But again, if you're looking for Odenkirk, I'm looking for a shot, Janusz. But I was watching something on TV last night. It's like it's all over like the posters for Better Call Saul of him with that.
No,
payphone.
I know.
We should use it.
I don't know, man. I'd be surprised if he hasn't seen Better Call Saul. I don't know.
Right? Because you'd think Spielberg would have good taste, right?
Yeah.
Right,
except Ready Player One. God bless him.
Well, again, that was a book he was adapting, so that's not really his fault.
Yeah, sure. We'll go if he was adapting the book.
Well, I mean, it's based anyway.
I know.
Oh. Sorry, it's just going to be a lot of that. It's like, oh, look at that. Oh, look at him. It's like, look, I'm going to make this entertaining for you, okay?
I'm trying. That's why I'm basically going full crazy on this one.
No. Here's why. Look, it's Michael Stuhlbarg.
Yeah, I know. Another dragon clap for wasted talent.
Well, no, man, I tried to say it like the schoolbread guy, Tiki. It's Michael Stuhlbarg.
Okay.
Seriously, side note, Stuhlbarg, he killed it on the staircase, man. He's the lawyer in the staircase. He did a really good job.
I know. I need to watch it. Maybe
it's all done now.
Maybe I'll watch that for my flight. Honestly,
you should. It's all done now. It's like 8 episodes.
Yeah, that might be good flight fodder.
Yeah.
Especially now that Barry's over and I'm about to finish Succession.
Yeah, there you go. Do you think those stripes make David Cross look fat?
A little bit, yes.
I don't think they're doing him any favors. It was a bad call. I think the stripes were. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I don't know. It's either that or the hair.
It's so fucking boring.
Oh, why you gotta frame it so negative?
They're just standing around.
It's so weird seeing David Cross with hair, isn't it?
Uh-huh. A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yep. There we go. Again, we keep bringing up Neil Shannon, and I don't really, it bothers me. I still don't know who that guy really is.
It's because it's a bad screenplay, because they keep dropping names of characters that we should care about, but the screenplay doesn't put the effort into making us care. That's what a bad screenplay does. Did you like my song?
No, not remotely. Not really. And then a little more Spielberg for you kids. And with coffee.
Clap for Spielberg coffee. God. Oh, man.
What do you think he's having? He's having it looks like a dessert, doesn't it?
Oh, God. Let me see. I don't know.
I think it's like strawberries, it's like a tart or something. I don't know. Is that a tart?
Hold on. I need to see a shot of it. I am paying attention very intently.
I think you might have missed the big, like the overhead. Oh, there we go. Look.
Yeah, it looks like I don't know, maybe like a pie of some kind.
Did they stack pie that high though? Because
I don't know.
see like berries. I think like things like.
Oh my God, maybe it's like berries and cream.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I guess that's a thing, right?
I don't drink it. Oh my God.
This is what I'm saying. It's all dinner parties and lunches with her and Tiki. You know me.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know what the fuck to say. I really don't.
I mean, look, you know me. I'm all for the mundane, like the lunch meetings from Better Call Saul. And I love that sort of thing.
Oh, hey, there's a fucking phone call. I wonder if Hanks is calling.
Yeah, just to give credit where credit's due here. Again, this is a big moment for Odenkirk. Him in like a Spielberg movie, so this is a big boon for him. Outside of him, well, at this point, he would have been in season 2 of Better Call Saul, which was kind of like, hey, we came back. So before rising to the ranks of like, he was already obviously a known character, but still like Odenkirk kind of like doing things outside of Better Call Saul. So you know.
Okay, so like you said, she hosts dinner parties, and then her and Hanks have a conversation.
Yep. In this case, like, hey, we've spiced it up. She's out to dinner with somebody, and she calls Hanks.
I'm not even gonna lie, Dragon. I am straight up getting indigestion from this movie. This movie is literally giving me chest pains.
Well, you get indigestion from everything, though.
I know.
Yeah. All right, so essentially, at this point in the movie, I believe we've established that essentially, you know, they've done something really. The conflict of the film is that they've ordered the press not to publish the leaked documents, which is a historical gobsmacking violation of the First Amendment. It was like one of those few times in history, like, oh my God, the president has decreed, like, no, don't publish this, like, don't make us look bad.
And it only took like roughly half the film's runtime to get to that.
No, I think they said earlier. I don't know if this is when they said a few minutes ago. I don't know how long ago, but it has.
If they say it earlier, they don't really do a good job of emphasizing it until.
Well, still, I mean, it's by the time they actually have it in their hands, then the order comes down. So I mean, it can't really be. It could not have really been that earlier. But then again, all the Meryl Streep stuff, had it been cut out, maybe it would have come sooner. So there. So I'll give you that much. Okay, this is more of like, hey, look, women shot. It's like, look, they're all giving her the nod because she's important, and boardroom stuff.
Right.
This is what I'm saying. This whole, like, you know, her and the.
This movie, dude.
Oh
my God!
Hold the whining. Things have gotten good again. Odenkirk's actually is getting on the phone with Dan here. This is good.
Hey, Dan.
Darn it. I keep forgetting how back and forth we go during this scene. I know it gets really interesting when he's going to go back to the payphone and he's going to actually meet up with Dan.
Dragon, like I said, it's just like they are all just like stoically respectful of her.
Yeah, because again, she's the widow. It's like, oh, we like the husband.
Fucking boring.
So that's what I'm saying. So it just I think so. Spielberg will probably never admit this, but it's like he's going like, yeah, I need to cut away from the Meryl Streep stuff because it's just kind of killing the movies. I had to throw
It's
some
so aggressively fucking boring.
Yeah, but here we go. Okay, so he's calling. He's looking for old Danny boy, and we're getting it. Oh wait, he works there though.
Yeah, it's like that. Like any scene with Odenkirk, there's a little pop of adrenaline.
Yeah. Love big celebratory. The company's gone public. We've made money.
Oh my god.
Hey, man, it's kind of a nice photo up. You're holding like the little share of stuff.
The whole thing is just feeding her goddamn ego, man.
Well, again, it's kind of an ego. She doesn't really want to be there. That's the thing. That's kind of
this whole character is so fundamentally flawed.
Okay, but back to the Mr. Show. After a little tangent.
Oh man.
All right, I'll take it to. Actually, I'm sorry, I jumped the gun. This is when they get the word out right now. This is when they all gather here. This is when they actually it gets broken down. They're not supposed to run with the stuff.
Yeah, again, like I said, it's like we're over halfway through the movie at this point.
Well, we're 50.
It's like this movie has shit pacing, man. It really does.
And considering it's like a shorter film than it usually does, that's what's ridiculous.
I know. No, Dragon. They're rest assured. There are a few there are multiple 2.5-hour Spielberg movies that have a way better pace to it than this does.
I wonder do you remember how long Bridge of Spies is? Bridge of Spies like 1 hour and 50, or is it like in the 2-hour mark?
Okay. I mean, I could go down the list, honestly. Like, let's see. Bridge of Spies is, I want to say it's more like 220, 222.
It is. It's 222.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, shave off like 8 minutes of credits, but yeah, sure.
But still, that's over 2 hours.
Okay, well, there you go. That one does.
West Side Story, I would wager to say, doesn't feel long.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that, too. I'll agree there. I mean, well, again, maybe it's like, West Side Story was like 20 minutes over long, but it's not overly long. Sorry, not 20, 10 minutes, like 10 minutes long. If you count the credits, So anyway, so here, just to give credit to while we can. I love the real world tension of like he's dropping pens and everything, and the guy's giving him a number, and he's not going to repeat it again. The fact that he has to memorize the number on the fly. This is my worst nightmare on the jobs kind of stuff.
Oh God!
Like, oh God, if I don't have the pen ready and I got to make the call and I got to memorize the number, and he's only got one shot at this. So I love Spielberg shooting the tension of the mundane here, like all these like insert shots of him dropping the stuff. So that's great. And again, this is back where we get into the interesting story here, where this is where it leads him to Dan, which again is the compelling 10 minutes of the movie that I care about. So again, connected by Odenkirk never hurts. See, imagine this. Imagine you just kind of took like an edit for like the second half of Better Call Saul for the last season coming out, where like you never thought he mattered that much, but like you see a clip of like, here's your package, Dan. Hey Dan, it's good to hear your voice again.
I could totally see that as a fan edit.
Yep.
Oh God.
No, seriously, man. These two guys
just like, yeah, we're really doing a deep cut on this one, guys.
Now, Odenkirk and Matthew Rhys, obviously, they're headliners of their own individual shows. Matthew Rhys did The Americans with Carrie Russell's real life wife, and that was the show that really made his career. I'd argue, and it's kind of good. It's really interesting to see these two guys play scene off of each other, and they're really good. I think. I just love the stare of like, look at all the documents.
And I will say, once the documents get introduced, at least on that side of the story, I can't say that things are boring anymore.
I mean, the best shot of the movie.
Still boring on the Meryl Streep living it up and throwing the parties front. But I will say that once the documents get thrown in, the movie does have a little bit of narrative drive.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, Tiki. It really just boils down to you have two plots, your A plot and your B plot. Unfortunately, your B plot, not so great.
Yeah, right. But again, it's literally taken like almost a solid hour to get to the point where the B plot is even has momentum.
Yeah, but again, the fact that it has to be interspersed in the kind of the lead up stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, again, it's going to sound simplistic, but again, it's like the Post being the Meryl Streep stuff and the Pentagon Papers being the real title of the movie, what it should have been.
Right. No, for sure.
Yeah, because all her stuff is represented with like putting the Post on the market and everything and all that.
And
So
you
it's
know
like
what,
all
Dragon? I here's the thing. I did go back and watch some 2017 reviews of this movie. People were praising Streep, and it's just like I don't get it.
I don't get it. Neither do I. I don't really.
I don't like.
What
What is she doing in this movie that's so great?
Because she's really just kind of sitting around and just like, I mean, like she's not really displaying leadership. She's just like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll do it. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
She has to keep getting coaxed into doing anything. It's like that. Like, where's the drive? Where's like, I mean, we're saying important things to her. Like Tom Hanks is a really good monologue to her, but not really with her. You know,
I just don't know. I don't.
It's like Clint Eastwood
with Streep. I don't get it a lot of the time, but
it's like Clint Eastwood acting to the chair. You know, only the chair's Meryl Streep.
God,
it's gonna sound harsh, but it's like she's just kind of like, you know, she's the Sphinx, man.
Oh man. You know what would have softened this blow a lot more, Dragon?
What?
If I didn't have to fucking work tomorrow.
Huh.
I'm in a clerk's. I wasn't even supposed to be here today's situation tomorrow, and it's right before my trip.
All right. Let's focus on the Spielberg.
Look at thankless Sarah Paulson, Dragon. She's an angel. She's a fucking angel, and she doesn't deserve to be in this movie.
What are your go-tos with Sarah Paulson, by the way? What do you like in her? What do you really like her in?
You know what? Honestly, Dragon, I'd have to kind of think about it, but I'm just saying she's just kind of like a character actor, and I know she's been in better stuff than this, and it's like just to play like the neglected housewife is just such a fucking thankless role.
I wonder if I think one of the best things I've seen her in was the O.J. Simpson the thing with the miniseries American Crime, the O.J. Simpson trial.
Dragon, I know I have an answer to that question, so let me look her up really quick.
So I know that again she was really good in Ratchet, but I know you haven't seen that. But did you ever get around to that O.J. the American Crime thing?
No,
not the documentary, but the
no, I know what you're talking about.
Cuba Gooding Jr. I think.
Hold on. What, more parties?
Every time I see that stupid table and that stupid house, and literally she just said, maybe I should give you a key because it keeps crashing the parties.
God, dude. Well, I wasn't expecting this to be the most unhinged Spielberg month, but, you know, here we are. Oh, dear God.
Like, how many rooms of this house can we explore to have, like, conversations to the side of, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I think, I wonder, I think this is the scene where we get the good monologue. I can't remember. See, unfortunately, there are more scenes like that I might be able to differentiate, but it's kind of like a needle in the haystack, so I gotta, Okay, I think he's, okay. I think he's getting that when he mentions basically the thing where he mentions the Jackie Kennedy story. That's the monologue I'm talking about. But yeah, that's a really good scene.
But again, like you said, it's Hank's monologuing to her. She's not really doing much.
Yep. We do have interesting.
God.
So here's the thing. You know what the real shame is with her stuff? Is that what we're building up here with Hanks? I mean, we have one scene, and I think it should have been like more of a focus of the film, like the fact that Kay has a relationship, like a history with McNamara, who was like the guy who's responsible, like one of the essentially the guy who really kept the Pentagon Papers secret, being the Secretary of Defense and everything.
And you know what? I will admit, I think the best moment she has is when she calls him out.
Yeah, that's the thing. But don't you wish
that is like the one moment in the film where I'm like, all right, Meryl, you tell him.
don't you wish that was like her main story, like her interacting with that guy?
Of
building to
course,
that
I wish
scene?
that was her main story because, like, as it stands now, I don't even get what her main story in this movie is really supposed to be beyond just like, should
Well,
I do
basically,
it? Should I not
yeah.
do it? Yeah. Let's run it. Let's
Okay,
let's run it.
here we go. So this is the Jackie Kennedy scene that Tom Hanks is laying out here, and this is a really really cool idea. It's the fact that it's like this great like everyone and their mother knows obviously what happened to Kennedy and how horrible that was, but you never really think about the aftermath and just him laying out like what if you had somebody, because Kennedy was friendly with a lot of people, like Sinatra and stuff, but it's like what if the reporter, again, it makes sense that Kennedy would have like been friendly with some of like the top reporters and stuff, like the editors of papers and stuff. So anyway, so he especially coming from a rich family like Kennedy did, just the fact that it's like Jackie Kennedy covered in blood. Tom Hanks's character, like Ben Bradley, thought he was a friend to their family, and it just was revealed to him like you can't print any of that. Like, no, don't. You're not thinking of him as like a friend who would be very courteous of that. Like, no, you're a reporter before you're an editor before you're a friend. And that broke that sobered him up to like what the realities of the world are. That's a really good scene. That's a good monologue.
Totally.
And also that leads to him with the sad irony of that really good line that he has about the way they lied. The way they lied, those days have to be over. And that's like the sad irony. Basically, that line's the reason Spielberg made the movie. It's like that's the sad irony of where we're at now, at least where we were. Well, we're still at now, but where we were then, particularly. Yeah, it's the fact that we hope things are going to get better.
I feel like the long and short of like the where we're at now thing, Dragon, is that if you really wanted to hit on that point, I like the way that Nixon is depicted in the movie as a shadowy figure. I just think we needed to have him as more of a presence. Whether that means more cutaways to Nixon or, you know what I mean, actually having an actor playing him or something. I don't know. It's like, I feel like as it stands now, Nixon is certainly like, he's an ingredient in the movie, but he's not really an active player.
I just want to mention it. We had the best shot in the movie where Odenkirk's on the plane with like the two seats with the with all the documents buckled in.
Okay, so I do think that the lemonade stand is probably the most Spielbergian thing in the whole fucking movie, honestly.
That's the thing. That's my favorite. The lemonade gag is my favorite thing in the movie.
It is me too.
However, the lemonade
stand, eye to eye on that at least.
Yeah, so Barry recently, lemonade stand's making a comeback really, really awesomely.
Oh God. Oh, I'm still shaken by Barry, dude.
Lemonade.
I feel like I need therapy over that Barry episode.
Yeah. Anyway, 4,000 pages, man. That's
even NoHo Hank didn't make it out unscathed, Dragon.
Nope.
Anyway.
Yeah, Kerrigan's really good when he pops up and stuff too.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's in this movie somewhere.
No. But what's funny though? There was a character that it wasn't him, but looked remarkably like him in Better Call Saul in the first half of the last season. Remember in Mike's guys in the car? They had like the one guy who had kind of the shaved eyebrows and everything, who looked for a moment like, oh my God, is that Anthony Kerrigan? And it looks very similar to him, but it's not him. It did leave the internet to speculate, is that NoHo Hank? And no, it wasn't.
That'd be wild.
Yeah. Going crazy.
So Sarah Paulson, like, I don't know. She has more screen time than I remember, but it's all thankless screen time.
Well, she only gets one real scene later on, like when she just kind of calls out the stakes to him, and that's about it. Like she tells him, well, you can get a job anywhere you want. That's about it. But, this is kind of like a nice usage of the space to see them all sprawled out here going through, and then they're yelling at the girl for, like, they put vodka in the lemonade. Leave the girl alone. Yeah. I believe that's, isn't that, I know Carrie Coon's in this, I believe
it is Carrie Coon, yes.
Yeah, one of your girls.
Once again, a very thankless role.
Yep.
Very, Dragon, you could have all the A-listers.
I'm not saying it's giving it the Oscar, man. I'm just pointing it out.
No, I'm just saying I don't even get the point of casting these people sometimes if you just give them nothing.
Oh, here's the inflation gang. Speaking of which,
okay. Okay. This guy shines. All
He
right.
does. Yeah.
Very small role for Plemons, but man, he does own it. He does own it.
Because it is an appropriate role that you're going to have at some point. They're going to need to call lawyers.
It's such a fucking appropriate role for Plemons Dragon. He fits it like a glove, man.
I mean, short of bringing Charlie Cox just for our enjoyment. This is
so. Isn't it funny that basically the big highlights of this movie are the Breaking Bad alum?
That's ironic for sure.
It's like Plemons doesn't get a ton to do, but it's like you know. Like, as soon as he enters the picture, maybe it's because he's been a little bit typecast. That's fair. But as soon as you enter the picture, you know, like this look right here, Dragon. This look, he's like, wait a minute. Oh, God, what's going on?
This is like the thing that literally they said, hey, don't put these out there. It's like, okay, publishers who are going to, bunch of reporters who are going to put this out there.
Fucking Sarah Paulson just offering him food.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so she's kind of there. Like, oh, look, it's Sarah Paulson. Sometimes it's a lot of like, okay, she's working, she's sleeping, she's throwing dinner parties. This is the most boring I've ever seen Meryl Streep in my life. This is the most like retiree Meryl Streep I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, it's the fact of the matter. It's like
she's literally half awake. She's literally half awake right now.
That's what I'm saying. This is like, it's like, oh God, she's just like literally sleepwalking through this movie. I mean, look, all the character is on her desk, but not with her. It's like, okay, there's the husband and there's the son who was off to war, and we saw her daughter earlier, who's also represented in the photograph. And what is she doing? Just looking.
Okay, hold the phone. That right there might be like the most lazy, like Eddie Valiant establishing shot via photographs ever.
Yeah, well, I'm saying they've been doing it for a few scenes in the movies. Like, oh, there's the picture of a husband again. You know.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like with Eddie Valiant, you need one tracking shot of his desk, and you know literally everything about.
Oh,
that
right.
character.
Well, yeah, you're right about that. It's like no Eddie Valiant at all there. Yeah.
Sure. Whereas this is just lazy. It's just like, yeah, man, there's some photographs, whatever.
Well, Eddie Valiant is like the best exploratory camera angle ever.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yep. To be fair, the music also helps in that scene too.
Okay, and this is the one scene where I'm like, yeah, Meryl.
Yeah, she's finally doing stuff. There you go.
Right.
I bet you this is the only scene they could actually show when she was nominated.
Oh God!
Because yeah, she did get nominated for this. It's probably the only scene they could possibly show.
Look it up.
No, I know they didn't use this scene. I was saying it was saying this.
No, now I'm genuinely curious. Hold on.
I'll bet you they didn't use this scene.
Best Actress. It would be 2018, right?
I mean, the movie came out in 2017, but the Oscars would have been in 2018. So I guess you're right. Yeah.
I swear to fuck, I'm looking this up, Dragon.
All right, so if I can talk about the scene while you're doing that.
Go ahead.
So yes, Greenwood here again. Now Greenwood, good actor. I think he is really delivering this scene well here. The idea is, this whole kind of betrayal within the friendship. Her son, had gone off to war. Thankfully, did not get killed in the Vietnam War. But the fact is, speaking for all the mothers of those children, it's like that's the fact that you knew this and you kept this hidden, you were a deciding guy in that. And we learn a little bit later. It sounds to me, I could be just inferring here. I'd like to think that this guy, the Secretary of State here, he basically, he tried to, he said, there's a line in here where it's he said, no, can we not bomb for a while? He basically tried to starve off the extreme actions, it seems, or some of the worst stuff that happens. I like that there's a little bit of there's a sympathy for this guy, but still, he's the guy, he's the first guy who lied when he got off the plane. So that does speak volumes about him too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's Zach Woods just kind of doing good work.
Yeah.
The tall guy here. I'm not even really crazy about Zach Woods because anyway. I always thought he tanked The Office. Honestly, I'm just going to say that Zach Woods just kind of stunk up.
So yeah, there's no clips. It's just still photographs, but her still photograph is just very literally just like her standing there with a stoic expression on her face.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I really never liked him on The Office.
I've never really liked The Office, period.
I'm saying if you were, I never finished The Office because there was a point where it just got too bad to watch. After Steve Carell left, it was on not dialysis, it was on life support.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what he's now, here's the thing: even though there's a little bit of sympathy for this guy, it read to me very strikingly that he's basically asking her to hold off the publication until after the war's over, which is basically like, if there's any sympathy there, he's kind of manipulating her. It's like, hey, just wait until after all the stuff's done. It's going to look as bad.
Right, right.
Yeah. So it's like kind of like still that skeezy element to the guy, the political skeezy element to the guy. Yeah.
By the way, just total exposition here, like just expositing exactly what his relationship is to Meryl Streep via dialogue.
Yeah.
That's never fun.
Yeah. It's probably mostly hinging on the husband if I'm a betting man, but you know. Because again, that's pretty much everything with her character in this movie. Every character she knows, pretty much, they knew her husband. She just kind of was there, and like now they're dealing with her.
Which I feel like on paper, Spielberg was like, "Yeah, we're really progressive with this. You know, we're going to see like the woman behind the man and how she's just as influential as he is." But
again, on paper,
it really doesn't play.
It's so funny. This movie so hinges on paper, yet the stuff that's on paper does not play as well.
God.
Now, to be fair, I love Bruce Greenwood doing here because it sounds like he's very much in support of her. Just kind of like I think on some level he is saying go for it, but I don't know. I might be inferring the wrong thing there because he's basically saying Nixon's an SOB. He will bury you if you go up against him. There, you get no second chance. Now, I like to think that when he's saying you get no second chance, you better make your shot count, lady, if you're going to go against him. Now,
so in other words, Meryl Streep better not throw away her shot.
All right.
I couldn't resist.
Anyway, my point being, I wonder if it's that, or it's actually just kind of being played as like, no, hey, you don't want to mess with this guy.
Okay, here's the thing, Dragon. I feel like I can address this now. One of my biggest things with the screenplay, and there are obviously a lot of issues with the screenplay that we are picking the fuck apart. One of my biggest issues is like the 11th hour, like, oh, if you publish this, you could actually go to prison. And it's like, don't you think you should have fucking inserted those stakes into the screenplay earlier, guys?
Now, to be fair, they did mention the whole prison thing earlier, though. I think the stakes were pretty much like, yeah.
No, but it's like they did, but they actually make a big deal out of it. Like, it's.
Well, yeah, we were right. Once the lawyer,
they might establish the stakes, but the stakes aren't like looming over the movie like they should be.
Well, you're right. Basically, it's the fact that they're not supposed to do it. They could get in trouble, and then when the lawyer comes around, he brings up the Espionage Act, which means that's actual prison time.
So yeah, it's all over the place, and then just
I swear to God, every time I see the exterior of this house, never have I had a distaste for.
Okay, Dragon, if you watch Succession, man. Like you are going to see rich people, like white rich people parties in a whole new light.
I don't mind. Look, I want to be clear. I don't mind white people, having parties. I don't mind that. My problem.
No, I'm just saying that's where the juicy shit happens on Succession.
I know. I'm just saying the stuff here is just dry as toast, man.
Oh God.
Also, I'm just gonna make.
Dragon, let me ask you something. Have we ever had a harder time getting through a Spielberg movie?
Let's see.
Is this like objectively the worst Spielberg month?
We've had technical issues, and you do throw a world-class hissy fit at times when you run out of things to say. So I can't really say we've mutually had a tough time getting through a Spielberg movie.
But I feel like between the two of us, like mutually, this might be the low point for us on Spielberg month.
I guess I'm hard pressed to think of like one we've mutually kind of like had that with before.
Because you're right, we have had technical issues. We have had issues where I'm just a little tapped out. But yeah, I feel like this is the first time where you and I are just suffering through this thing.
So we had to do Jaws twice. I mean, the second time came out a lot better, but still, we had
right.
See. Oh, by the way, I think we saw like the little girl with a whole bunch of cash, and like the mother's holding it right now.
I want the little girl to be the main character of this fucking movie.
Okay, that's a bit of an overreaction.
I know.
That's what I'm saying. How many times can they celebrate going public?
It shouldn't even be a plot. It doesn't even matter.
And here we go. Now we have like I believe this is like the big party line scene where essentially we have like the
Oh
speakerphone
my
sort of like they're all
god.
line. It's like, hey, we're steaks again during a party, and it just
Uh-huh.
gets so repetitive, again and again and again.
I'm over this.
Also, I wanted to mention
Dragon, you
earlier.
really should just watch Succession right after this, just to wash this out of your system. It's like this is like Succession
Well,
is
Tiki,
just like exactly the right way to do shit like this.
well, again, Tiki, I've seen Mad Men, so I think I might, I quite possibly, I haven't seen Succession. I might have seen the better Succession for all you know. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right, because I haven't seen Mad Men, so I don't know. But
I'm saying, if you've seen Christina Hendricks, man, she is so good in that show.
John Hamm is the draw, but
Yeah, no, I'm saying it's like a trio, man. It's like it's John Hamm, Christina Hendricks, and I think the biggest draw, John Slattery. John Slattery is amazing in that. You'd love John Slattery in that show.
uh-huh.
He is like, oh, so he's essentially playing Tony Stark's father in that show, and it's delightful. Yeah. Anyway, and of course, you have Elizabeth Moss, so I think she's good, but still not for me, not the draw. Anyway, I'm drifting off focus. So,
I wonder why you're drifting off.
right. So I believe this is I forget if it's on the phone or not.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this conversation is basically just regurgitating information we've already regurgitated, right?
I'd like to be a little less defeatist about it, but you're not wrong. Oh, we're trucking on through.
Are you sure you don't want to just talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
No, I don't want to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. Why? Is it just because it was in 2017? Is that why Guardians?
No, it's literally just because of the whole gag of like, I'd rather, like, this is the really boring thing to talk about, and then let's transition to the thing I want to talk about, the Red Letter Media gag.
Did they throw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
No, you know what I'm talking about, the Rogue One thing.
Yeah, sure. Oh, right. Oh, that whole thing, right.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Now I do, yes. Okay. For a second, I kept thinking like you picked like a random 2017 movie that you really liked.
2017 wasn't really the best year.
I mean, good. Huh. Boy, Coco.
That was my number one, but that was one of like the few highlights, I think.
Well, let's see, you got Coco, you got Guardians. I don't know, I'm thinking of Marvel movies right now, but beyond that, I mean, I'm sure there was something.
Well, my God, do you want to look it up?
No, I don't want to look. Oh, guys, I'm going to look it up. All right. Yeah, here's our big moment to you. The only big substantial moment she has in the movie.
Oh, dear God.
That's what I'm saying. I hate this pushing and everything. And just so, like, this is not her best acting to me. It's like, okay, let's do it. Let's run it. See, look at all this hemming and hawing. Look at this. They're dragging it out.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's do it. Let's publish it. It's like, okay, she's kind of woken up for a brief moment.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's like she's kind of woken up for the first time in the movie. Then she kind of right back to sleep.
I would say the big movie of 2017 besides Coco was probably Get Out.
Oh, there you go. Get Out. Wait, Get Out. Wait, Get Out wasn't 2018. You're sure about that?
Yeah. Shape of Water 2.
Oh, yeah. Yes, there you go. Yeah.
Last Jedi, fucking Despicable Me 3 of all things.
Okay, well, sorry. Well, I think we
all
got
right.
the idea.
Anyways. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be a strong year overall.
Here's a fun fact, because we're featuring it a lot. Tom Hanks
The Dark Tower.
All right. Can I get
Beauty and the Beast 27? Ooh, the Emoji Movie and the original Boss Baby.
All right, come on. I'm trying to bring up stuff that's at least in conjunction.
All of these are more interesting than the post. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Also, I kind of passed. I was going to bring up while they're all using the typewriter and everything. Tom Hanks collects typewriters.
Awesome.
Very pridefully. Remember when he got the virus? He gave.
Okay, that is kind of cool.
Yeah, remember when he got the virus? He gave the Corona typewriter to the kid, which is really nice. Pentagon Papers.
Ooh.
Written in red.
Imagine if that was the title reveal, like fucking hour and a half into the movie.
As far as I'm concerned, it is.
Right.
I'm saying, man, Bradley Woodford here is being kind of wasted. It's just like, come on, let Woodford
Literally
go for it.
everyone is being wasted.
Yeah, well, everyone but Bob Odenkirk, but yeah.
And Bob Odenkirk should thank his lucky stars that he's like the one character that actually has a decent arc.
Yeah, we got to give him an action movie next. That'll turn out great, I'm sure. And it did.
I need to rewatch it.
I love it, man. It's so good. It's very enjoyable.
Should we just talk about that movie? You're tempted, aren't you?
I'm very tempted. Yes, because I love Nobody. I love it.
Oh God. Remind me who played the brother in Nobody.
It's I forget if it's pronounced Rizza or something. It's like a rapper named Rizza or something.
Oh, right, yeah.
I believe, yes. I was talking with a buddy of mine. He kept bringing that name up.
Okay, hold on. The two Breaking Bad interacting Dragon.
Yeah, these two guys
Sparks are fucking flying, bro.
Yeah, I don't think they ever, because I know Walt and Jesse had the whole Vominos thing. That's how they met Todd. I don't think Saul.
Yeah, I don't think Todd and Saul ever interact.
I wonder if they would be really forced if they worked in Todd into Better Call Saul with the Vominos.
Okay, seriously, this right here, because it's the two actors, is like literally the most compelling thing I've seen in the movie so far.
I really like how he's defending Dan here. Ellsberg here, saying, "Hey, I'm not going to rat out the source."
Right.
And of course, he's smart enough to realize, like, oh no, I found this loophole. He got it from a source, but not the guy I was talking about.
Yeah, this is genuinely I know I called out the whole like it's a little late in the game to be introducing the prison stuff, but like it's still a well done like hook, you know.
Did you ever see Odenkirk's movie on Netflix, Girlfriend's Day?
I think I did, yeah.
It's like a farcical. It's kind of like a black farcical comedy of sorts, where it's like
I've seen it.
It's like a spoof. Yeah. It's got a good cast too. Yeah. Doesn't hold up as well as I remembered it when I rewatched it though, but it was fun enough. It was like, that's cute.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's like he puts everything in his apartment on sale. It's like that's a really funny idea to me. Is the fact that everything in the apartment was on sale. It's like, okay, look, I can't pay my rent, but let's just put for sale signs on everything, and people just kind of come in and buy what they want. And that'll be the money that goes to you for my rent.
Uh-huh.
And it was Steve Gomez as his landlord.
Oh my God! All right.
All right.
Even in the scene with the two Breaking Bad alums, we have to drift focus to his Netflix movie.
Well, I'm just padding.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not criticizing you. I'm criticizing the movie.
Oh, there's that lemonade money. Look at all that lemonade money.
God.
Yeah.
Dragon, you know what? As a special treat for the audience who stayed with us, I'm going to recite the entire Itchy and Scratchy Lemonade episode. Are you ready?
No.
Lemonade? Please. I made it just for you. You're my best friend. All right, that was it. That was the whole episode.
Okay.
All right.
So this is Sarah Paulson. Don't blink, kids. This is Sarah Paulson's one scene in the movie that actually matters.
Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so sleepy.
So yeah, this is just kind of like, the wife being supportive and just kind of putting everything in perspective here. Kind of usual fare. Spielberg does have
just fall asleep for the next 20 minutes.
No, I'm trying to talk. I'm actually talking about Spielberg here.
I'm kidding.
So, trying to find my thought now. All right, yeah. So, Spielberg does have a tendency to really, again, probably pulling from the whole, the whole real life experience of the mother and everything. It's kind of like a reverse on the Spielberg daddy issues for a change. It's kind of him, kind of representing kind of the
Spielberg's got a mum.
Yeah. Just the mothers, kind of the women on the home front, so to speak. The wives.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And again, ultimately, let's be honest, though, it is pretty much like padding. So when we get to the end, that's essentially what's going on here. It's like,
Okay,
well, we gotta.
and here's the thing: it's like we pad things out to the courtroom thing, and the courtroom thing is literally just reading a verdict. It's so fucking boring. It's so boring. God, this movie's so fucking boring.
Doesn't it make you want to be much nicer to the terminal, though?
Oh, honestly, yes. Yes,
Well, at least
honestly.
there's some silver lining to this whole experience. At least I can take that away from
At first I was gonna fight that, but then I thought of Tucci, and I was like, no, Tucci's the
You
thing.
gotta admit, the only thing that's wrong with the terminal is
Tucci has an arc. Tucci has an arc. None of these fucking people have arcs.
I mean, look,
These are just fucking planks of wood spouting historical exposition.
Look, the only thing that's wrong with the terminal is Catherine Zeta-Jones. You take that out of the equation, everything works really nicely.
That's fucking fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I will fully admit, Catherine Zeta-Jones
I don't
does
like
hurt
it, but it's fair.
Okay. It's like Goop to stopping the plane, man.
Oh God.
Get lost.
Oh help, God.
Diego Luna was really good in that too, and compared to what he's gonna be doing that casting.
I forgot he was in that movie.
Yeah, he was really nice in that movie. Yeah, think about the nice cast you have. They had Zoe Saldana way before Guardians. We got Diego
Okay, you know
Luna.
what? Let's just fucking spend the next 15 minutes talking about how good the terminal is in comparison to this.
I mean, seriously, Tucci, I just want him to play Jeffrey Katzenberg with the way he plays Frank Dixon in that movie. He is just so
Tucci, I feel like, is born to play Jeffrey Katzenberg, man.
I know. He is. Oh, God. I love the scenes between him and Hanks in that movie. They're just so...
It is like Dragon, I feel like that's like maybe one of our top 5, like, if that casting ever came true, man, we would just be over the fucking moon.
I'm saying get Stephen Root as John Lasseter and get Jeff.
Stephen Root as John Lasseter is actually really good because he's like the lovable grandpa type who also kind of has a sinister side to him. I like that.
And you have Jeffrey Katzenberg being played by Stanley Tucci. That'd be really good. Anyway.
So, did we ever land on a solid Eisner?
Yeah, we have Dominic Lombardozzi, Kingpin's father from Daredevil.
Oh, right. I mean, that's solid, I guess. I don't know.
Put him side by side. He's like a New York tough guy, like Michael Eisner.
Sure.
Yeah, seriously, I stand by that cast.
No, it's fair. It's fair.
Give him a wig. It's the guy. Anyway,
are you still on board with like my fucking like fan fiction alternate reality where Michael Eisner just stages a Save Disney coup against JPEG?
I mean, look, it'd be really cute if you had like a scene. Remember the ending of Batman Begins, where you had like Lucius Fox and in the Rooker Hauer character, Mr. Earl, like going there. It's like, didn't you get the memo? Don't you kind of wish it was like Eisner in the Disney meeting, and then like Kenny just walks, JPEG walks in there and says, "Didn't you get the memo? Hello, didn't you get the memo?
Hello."
Oh, Bob. Hello.
Oh God.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. This is basically what we have. Meryl Streep just kind of. This is where Meryl Streep's just laying out the whole I've stepped up into the big role. I'm putting on my big girl pants. I'm doing it. But real quick, just to say, because I don't think I was going to really lose any sleep over it. Just again, the scene between Tom Hanks and Stanley Tucci at the end of the term, like the last scene that they share together, the whole I go to New York City now, and he threatens all of his friends, and you just see that Victor Vorstman's such a nice guy throughout the whole movie. But this guy's been very patient, very innocent. He just walks up to him, says, I go to New York City now, and they just has him over a barrel, and he has to bend to Frank Dixon's whims. Like, oh, such good acting.
Can I just state for the fucking record that we still have another 20 minutes?
Well, now it's a little more.
No, it's 19 minutes, Dragon. 19 solid fucking minutes of runtime before the credits.
Well, at least the last couple minutes are good.
Are they now?
No, I mean comparatively, yeah.
Oh
I
man.
think it's better than Meryl Streep just sitting around, just being convinced to do stuff again, being reassured. Okay, there's actually some good Spielberg shots. Look at us.
Okay, okay.
Okay, we're kind of like the typeface and everything, and the print. Oh, I love the printing press stuff, like what we're doing right now, getting ready for like the document being typed up, and when the printing press goes, like it shakes the place, and Odenkirk gives that satisfied look of like, yeah, it's happening.
Small victories, yeah.
We got against a small victory, man. If we don't enjoy the small victories, we got to wait till the big ones. So rarely do you see them with the ink and everything in this printing press.
No, you know what? You know what? I will give you this. It is pretty cool. Like as far as like the old school technology goes, you're right. You're right. I'll give you the point there.
It's like the prison license plate thing where you have to arrange like all the printed out letters, like essentially 3D printing of its day, but with the metallurgy.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, go from the awesome printing press stuff that's happening to there's more guys in suits in rooms and one lady.
God.
Always the one lady.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's frustrating.
This movie, dude.
I'm gonna go as far as to say this, Tiki. You're gonna appreciate this. I usually don't like to subscribe to your whole like your boring thing about the whole the thing about we gotta like would you rather take a boring movie to a bad movie or vice versa, a bad movie to a boring movie. I'm not gonna subscribe to your line of thinking, but I will say this is one of those rare exceptions. I think this one is like the exception that might prove the rule or something. However you want.
Yeah, you'd rather take a bad movie than this.
I'm saying specifically this one.
Okay, that's fair. I will take it. I
want to be clear, just specifically this one, not just in general, but just like this one. I would rather watch like I'd watch something at least laughably bad for this.
Uh-huh.
I'll go as far as to say that because there's not enough good to really justify but the fact honestly what's killing me less so is the fact that it's like I can't just fast forward to the good parts. Essentially, I have to sit through and we're intercutting it so much.
You know why you can't fast forward to the good parts is because all the scenes have some sort of notable character actor.
Oh, that too. It's not.
Yeah, I mean that's why this is basically like the fucking MCU for the Criterion crowd, Dragon.
Right. I mean, that's the thing here's the thing with Lincoln, for example. Lincoln, I can at least there's I'm in it for Lincoln. There's like a
don't you dare throw this movie in with Lincoln.
No, I'm lifting it. Just give me a second. There's with Lincoln.
Good.
With Lincoln, it's the fact that again I can watch Lincoln. Then I'm just like either a brief stretch or basically I forget if it's like just to the end with Lincoln. If I could cut Lincoln off like right before like the last like 10 to 20, if I recall, I think it's like when I've always argued I think Lincoln should end when he leaves his gloves behind, he walks out. That's
fair. That's fair. Yeah.
See, that's the thing. So if Lincoln ended there, I think that movie would have been a whole lot better in my book. And I'm not saying it kills the movie or anything. I'm just saying I think Lincoln by comparison is far better than this. But I'm just saying though, I think the difference is like again, Lincoln. Anything I don't like in Lincoln is very sparse out. Like it's very brief, or just that last 10 to 20 minute section. Like it just should have ended there. Where this is like again, it's like it's every like 5 minutes.
I feel
maybe
like less. Like sifting through rock clods to try and find like little spots of gold dust. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're finding a little gold nugget dust. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I just want to watch Treasure of the
Look at Clemens just in the background owning the room.
Yeah. Lean on that chair. Yeah. You know what's funny, real quick?
What?
I told our buddy, our filmmaking buddy, Chris Notarelli, how we should be cast as how Jesse Plone should play him in a biopic.
Yes.
And he basically it didn't go well.
Dragon, not a lot of things go well with him.
No. It didn't go like bad. I'm just saying, like he didn't know. He thought I was talking about Aaron Paul, and I tried to clarify.
Oh, okay.
It killed the momentum. I feel had he recognized or had he known him, I think he would have agreed. But I think it's just because I had to explain to him, like, no, Todd, I didn't want to just say the neo-Nazi because that would have been unflattering.
Right.
So
hey, Chris, I've got the perfect character actor to play you. He's known for playing Nazis.
That's the thing, because it's like he saw Breaking Bad, but he just didn't. It's like again, I said Jesse Plemons, and he thought, oh, Jesse Pinkman. Like, no,
would maybe saying the guy who shot Drew Sharp.
Maybe I should have said that, but I killed the momentum on that pitch, so that he got scared.
That sucks.
That's the thing, because they were talking like someone brought the bio. I forget if I brought the biopic question, someone did, and I answered. Oh, wait a minute, I have an answer for this. Yeah. Because seriously, well, anyway, I don't want to bore the folks, but anyway. So this is nice, though. Again, like look at all that newsprint, man. Now it's all on a screen.
Okay, yeah. I gave you the first one, Dragon, but it's like the whole, like, this movie has like a whole 20 minutes of like, look at the newspapers, they're rolling out.
I'm not saying a movie called The Post, you do have to have
we love the printed press.
You gotta have one sequence at least where we're showing some love to the newspaper of it all. It's given the fact that now it's like a bygone thing.
You know what? Maybe the movie would have. This is another observation. Maybe they probably could have emphasized the fact that it's like a bygone thing a little bit more.
Yeah, basically, you say basically, what if it like kind of focused on the kind of the romance of the newspaper?
Yeah.
Yeah, like these are like romance of the newspaper shots from here. Like, yeah, throw them out off the thing while it's moving. Yeah. Look at all that clipping. Look at us loading those machines that now, I don't know why we still have them. I don't even know if we do still have them. And this is basically where they're trying to sweet talk him into, hey, can you not print them?
This movie has just no sense of momentum, no sense of pacing, no sense of structure.
It's the slowest Spielberg movie I've ever seen. I'll say that much.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. I mean, given our track record, it's kind of lucky in comparison to all the Spielberg movies that we could have, I'm saying it's, at least, we didn't like start. Imagine how terrible it would have been if we started off with this.
Oh yeah, Dragon, for Spielberg month, the first Spielberg selection is The Post.
God,
that would have killed Spielberg month.
I mean, yeah. Like, what do you think the worst possible Spielberg month lineup would have been? Like, for the first, like, imagine, like, in a what if here, if we started, like, okay, so you have The Post, you have, let's see, you have The Post, you got probably War of the Worlds.
No, I like it.
I'm just trying to think.
I just think anything, honestly, anything with the, is that the Kerrigan guy?
I don't know.
Sorry, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I could just imagine a scenario where we get super cocky and just literally like lead with a post, because it's like we're just like, what would be an out of left field suggestion, like an out of left field movie that they never see coming, and we just be like total hipsters and like intentionally choose like the most like out of left field one we possibly could.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Here's something really cool to mention, though. Okay, so this is kind of remarkable. The fact that the Supreme Court like acting this fast on something just shows you how important this thing was supposed to be. Where it didn't get filmed that way, but the way it was supposed to be. Or it was the fact like, hey, we're taking it to the Supreme Court like a week from now. Like the fact it's gonna be like Supreme Court's always like they only take so many cases and usually takes like forever to get there.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
I guess No, you're right when you say it like that. It is, but it's again like literally like everything else in this screenplay. I don't feel like the screenplay emphasizes how much of a big deal it is.
Oh, Tiki. Odenkirk's best known acting in the movie right now.
Oh, let's see.
This is a real. I love how he delivered this to Tom Hanks, and the fact that he could deliver this to Tom Hanks is a real boon for his career. I always wanted to be part of a small rebellion.
Oh yeah,
Been
totally.
really sweet, really genuine, just really, and the fact like that's the bag full of newspapers. It's newspapers from every sort of place. The fact that everyone else, it's like like they're all
No,
rising
okay,
up with
this right here is probably the most Spielbergian movie. The bag of newspapers with all the different headlines.
And
You
there's
know what?
Dan.
I will admit, Dragon, for as god awful fucking boring as this movie is, this moment does sell. This moment does work.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like I think at this point, I want to say from like like from this after the newspapers were delivered on, I think we're back to the momentum of like where we were going with things. I think.
Okay, so awesome. So you're saying literally the last fucking 5 minutes.
Think
awesome.
about it though. It's like it's so weird how that works. The first 10 minutes of the movie. Think about it, the first 10 minutes
Thank
of the
God
movie.
the movie got back on track in the last 5 minutes.
But think about it. First 10 minutes of the movie, great. Then the last 5 minutes, great.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah, it's like look the big momentum thing. The Meryl Streep's actually getting something proper to do right now. It's like, oh, she's looking amazed. Of like, I helped do something. Look, she's actually acting. She's looking shocked.
Oh my God!
Imagine Spielberg off to the side, like doing one of those director things where it's like, okay, Meryl, surprised, shocked, cocky, fold the arms. Tom, you follow suit. Okay, and I forgot. Yeah, then we do that. Even the 5 minutes is a little interspersed because then we have the whole. This isn't bad though. I mean, had this been like had the movie like stripped out a lot of the Meryl Streep, this would have might have been a decent scene. So this whole like the fact she kind of inspired like a girl walking on the. I think this feels like a Spielberg touch to the fact that like, hey, look, I'm on the opposite side. I'm rooting for you, man.
I mean, like you said, you hit it right on the head. I feel like the fact that like the whole movie is like literally kind of like trying to fall over itself to be like, is it Meryl Streep awesome even though she's not doing much?
Yeah. To be fair, she's really just reaping all the rewards for just like saying, yeah, do that. She didn't really do anything at all in this movie.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's run it. Let's run it.
That's all she does. Everything else is just part.
Dragon, we have to remember that is the end tag.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, because we're in the Supreme Court. Boston Legal, they always made such a meal when they did the Supreme Court. The James Spader, the William Shatner show. When they because like in the last season they went to the Supreme Court and like rarely did they go, but it was like they did it very rarely and very big because it's like the highest court in the land, all that sort of stuff. And it's the fact that James Spader is always known for speechifying in that show with his closing statements and his opening statements and everything. So it's like you put like the speech master himself in front of like all. They got a few of the real Supreme Court judges in those Supreme Court episodes. It's really awesome. It's like the toughest judges you could ever go across to. Like these are the guys like every lawyer's like Saul Goodman would wet himself just stepping into the room. It's like if Saul Goodman's like a guy who barely wants to go into a courtroom, the last place he would ever want to be is the Supreme Court.
Sure.
Let's see. I wonder if they're going to say the names of the actual guys or not. Oh, they're doing the OEAs. Being all fancy.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, OEAs. Basically it's the thing they say in court. Like, OEAs. It's like, shut up, you dyke bag, from Babin the Animated Series. I'm just pulling that so you would recognize it, but I'm just saying in general, like in court in the olden days, you say, oye. And I assume the Supreme Court holds
Why do we have to go through this? Once again, I'm so ready for the movie to be done.
We've been ready for it to be done since probably since the beginning though, Tiki. So what is that really saying?
This movie is like the most anti Kevin Smith fucking credits movie ever.
You know what it is?
What?
It's opening credits. I mean, literally, with how it ends, like the opening credits of the Watergate movie. It's like the longest opening credits like preamble you've ever seen.
Right. What if it was like all that, and then it's like the movie had like another hour, and that last hour was just the Watergate stuff?
Could be like the end game of Spielberg movies. Literally, it's like, okay, so it's it's 3 movies in one.
Oh God.
There's the terrible movie we don't like with Meryl Streep, and then there's like the documents movie, and then there's the Watergate movie.
Oh, uh-huh.
I was going to mention this because I don't think we're going back to his office again. Tom Hanks' office, Ben's office. Nice shelving.
This is the hot commentary that people listen 2 hours and 4 minutes in for, Dragon.
Well, it's Spielberg's own fault, okay? If he didn't, okay, he could have done a commentary on this. He could have saved us the trouble. Honestly, Spielberg goes
about the Spielberg month, Dragon. It's like we are literally almost done with all of it.
I mean, honestly, Spielberg goes to $8. Let's be honest.
God, wow.
Being frank, I mean, at the very least, $4 is I like to have to.
I mean, you want to just call that out right now? Just the fact that we did actually I did have to pay the $8 to rent this twice. Once for Dragon.
Well, I mean, if we spin it just in regards to the whole, it's ridiculous that how streaming is these days, where it's like things just come and go, they don't stay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm spinning it as. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Then, yeah. Hey, look, she's actually in the news. She's actually in the building this time instead of just at her house. She does have a good line here from her husband, but again, it came from her husband, so I don't know how much this really adds for her. It's the whole.
Dear.
It's the rough draft of history. It's cute. See, Tia, it's so funny. So, like, at the very end of the movie, she's actually emoting. She's actually doing some acting. But it's literally like the last scene of the movie for her.
I'm so fucking done with this movie. And
you see, the stripes look good on Tom Hanks. They don't look good on Dave Cross.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, look at him walk down that hall.
Oh, my God. It's like got 2 minutes left, and that feels too long. This is a nice Spielberg end shot. I'll give you that.
It is. Yeah.
It's a good Spielberg wide.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Had this movie hit like the whole, reflecting on the days.
All right, Dragon, are you ready for the sequel? Are you ready for the sequel, buddy?
Boy, am I.
Are you ready for the post-credit scene of The Post?
Yes, I am. So,
dun.
Okay, now seriously.
Oh, shit. Nixon means business now, man. This is basically the Nixon version of screw it, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, sure. So, seriously, the ending on Watergate was...
Seriously, this is so fucking awkward. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So, I mean, I like ending on Watergate, but admittedly, yeah, when you think about it, all of it being a build-up to the movie we really wanted to see Spielberg do, that is really strange. But, I mean, ending on the Watergate thing's the fact that you think progress has been made, but, like, no, it's, of course, history taking course. And the fact that...
I mean, this is literally like the Ark of the fucking Covenant right here, bro.
Yeah.
This is silly. This is straight up silly how they're framing this shit.
Yeah, I mean, the Nixon, of course, he really, he got really petty on things. So the fact that he's like banned them from the White House and everything, the people, any reporters from the Post, and the implication being, Nixon feeling like he was on his heels. I think we're trying to draw the correlation. Nixon was on his heels for the worrying about his re-election, hence the Watergate break-in. The Post did probably motivate him to do that. So,
you know what's even crazier about that ending, Dragon?
What?
Is that ending is like one of the few biopic endings where they don't do the traditional, like, such and such person went on to do this, such and such person went on to do that.
Yep.
Normally, I feel like that slows the momentum of endings, but I honestly feel like with such a big cast, this movie could have used that.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
And instead, they literally just do like a sequel bait for a movie that they know is not going to happen. I'm so fucking baffled by The Post, dude. I'm so baffled by The Post.
Yeah, well,
this is genuine, like, low tier Spielberg. That's all I have to say about it, man. I'm ready to sign off on this thing.
Well, good news. We're done.
We are, thank God.
We made it, Tiki. It's over. It's over. Now that's the cameo. That's the character actor we should have had in this movie.
Oh my God!
Because remember, he was no, seriously. He was in a movie about the newspaper. He was in Hudsucker Proxy.
I could see him being a news anchor or
That's
something.
what I'm saying. Yeah, he was in like he's essentially was a newsie of sorts. He was in Hudsucker Proxy. Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So, Dragon, the next one we're covering is I'm sorry, is it going to be Amblin or Color Purple?
Color Purple, Tiki.
Okay, thank you. And I got to say, I'm really excited for this one because I feel like this is like one of the last truly like really acclaimed movies in Spielberg's catalog that we haven't touched yet.
Yeah.
So hopefully it lives up to the hype. All right, anything else to say, Dragon? This has truly been like an unprecedented commentary, man. I mean, I had nothing to say. I knew this was going to be a challenge, but
yep.
All right, I think we said our piece, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, it could have been better. Yeah.
Right, so stay tuned until next time as we tackle another subject in the grim, gritty, wondrous, and whimsical world of Steven Spielberg on yet another thrilling installment of Spielberg Month.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Yes.